Chapter 91. With strength, that was how confident he was. Who at the 7th level of the body, refining realm, could take on a killing move from an origin martial realm warrior? He Lin sighed, his face miserable. Although I am the son of the city lord, because my mother was born in a lowly position, I have to be respectful, humble, and tolerant. Now that my father is about to leave this world, when my brothers are killing each other, I will spare his life. Who would have thought that they would go too far? He Yuan Jun provoked again and again, and the other young masters just watched from the sidelines, hitting him when he was down. This is intolerable. So I have decided that I will fight for the position of City Lord. Blindly retreating and tolerating will only lead to being bullied and manipulated by others. Heilin clenched his fists, his eyes resolute. Tang Ao smiled faintly and thought, this kid has some potential. At least he is not a timid person. Ad echoed, my young master has no intention of fighting for the position of City Lord. It is just that they have gone too far and are not giving him a way out. I hope that young Master Tang can help my young master. Although I do not seek to win the position of City Lord, I hope that I can lose with dignity. Uncle Ding and Ada bowed to Tang Ao together and said respectfully, young Master Tang, please help my young master. Looking at the two, begging before him. Then looking at He whose eyes were filled with anticipation and determination, Tang Ao agreed. Ha ha ha. Since young Master Lin has come personally, I, Tang Ao, have to give you face. I will represent the 7 Kills sect to agree to your request. Firstly, Tang Ao valued Helin's lowly background. Secondly, he wanted to complete the mission given to him by the sect, so he brought up the 7 Kills sect. The 3 of them were overjoyed. They bowed again. Thank you, young master, for your help. Tang Ao looked indifferent. What do you mean losing with dignity? Who asked you to be the weakest? However, with this young master's assistance, the position of Water Pearl City's City Lord will definitely be yours. Tang Ao was bursting with confidence. Heilin was stunned when he heard that. He was baffled by Tang Ao's confidence. Even if Tang Ao had the support of the 7 Kills sect, there were still descendants of the Heavenly Star Sacred sect who could contend with him in the process of competing. Uncle Ding and Adele were filled with disbelief. Although they had seen Tang Ao's extraordinary strength, he was so confident that he could obtain the position of City Lord. It was as if recruiting Tang Ao was equivalent to obtaining the position. Wow, how arrogant. A contemptuous voice came from outside the door, and then the door was kicked open. He Yuan Jun barged in with Zhou Ji and Huo Ping. A manservant was cowering at the side, looking innocently at Tang Ao and the others. He Yuan Jun raised her chin high and looked down at Tang Ao and the other 3. Just now, someone said, who is the Castellan? How arrogant. Tang Ao was depressed. He didn't want to look for him, but He Yuan Jun came to him. Just as he was about to speak, He Lin stepped out. His thin body looked unusually tall at this moment. He Yuan Jun, don't go too far. He Yuan Jun laughed out loud and pushed He Lin, forcing him to retreat. Ha ha, you useless piece of trash. So what if I bully you? Ada and Uncle Ding hurried forward to support He Lin. They stared angrily at He Yuan Jun and scolded. He Yuan Jun, you bully the weak and fear the strong. He Yuan Jun looked at He Lin with disdain. Don't think that you can compete with me just because you recruited someone from the 7 Kills sect. Let me tell you, you are trash, and you can only be trash for the rest of your life. Wow, young master is so powerful. You pushed a trash so far away. You are so powerful. Tang Ao mocked and ridiculed him. How dare you? Zhou Ji was the first to step out. His performance on the heaven and earth stage had caused his position in He Yuan Jun's eyes to plummet. He desperately needed a chance to prove himself. Brat, since you are a disciple of the 7 Kills sect, kneel down and apologize to my young master, and I will let you live. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead. Oh, Tang Ao was feeling displeased in his heart. Why is it that I keep coming across such an opinionated fool? I will give you a chance as well. Slap yourself 20 times, or else I will teach you how to be a proper person. Tang Ao's eyes carried a trace of ridicule and ridicule. If Wang Lin saw this, he would be trembling and covered in cold sweat. Zhou Ji shouted, "Brat, you are looking for death." He charged toward Tang Ao. His hand formed a sword, and he slashed. "Noisy!" Tang Ao suddenly shouted. Before anyone could see his movements, Zhou Ji's body flew out of the door and landed in the lobby of the restaurant, kicking up a cloud of dust. The people who were eating in the lobby were scared and ran out. They hid on both sides of the door and peeped. Why? It was so lively. The shopkeeper and the waiters hid behind the counter, trembling, watching the show in front of them. "You dare to hit me." Zhou Ji got up and touched his swollen left cheek. He looked at Tang Ao, who was leisurely walking upstairs with a face full of resentment. After Lin and the others saw the result, they were speechless. Tang Ao was holding a shoe sole in his hand, and Zhou Ji's face had a clear shoe print. It was so red that it was almost purple. How could this happen? However, Yuanjun and Huaping's faces were ugly. Yuanjun was so angry that her body was trembling. She kept calling Zhou Ji trash. Tang Ao patted the sole of his shoe on the railing, as if he was flicking away some dust. "Hit you? So what if I hit you? Who told you to have such a dirty mouth?" Zhou Ji was infuriated. He took out 3 life spirit swords and thrust them towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao looked helpless. Someone's asking for a beating again. How despicable. As he spoke, he clenched his right fist. From his fist to his arm, a black sand substance seeped out, covering his arm like a handguard. Bang! Tang Ao suddenly exerted strength in his legs and rushed toward Zhou Ji. Is he crazy? No matter how strong he is, he can't take on Zhou Ji's life spirits with his bare hands. What's more, these are 3 life spirits that specialize in killing. Ada and Dingbo were dumbfounded. They shook their heads and sighed at Tang Ao's overestimation. Even Lin broke out in a cold sweat. He blamed Tang Ao for being too reckless. "Reckless fool! How dare you take on Zhou Ji's life spirits?" Huaping sneered. He and Yuanjun looked at Tang Ao mockingly, waiting for a good show to happen. Crack! Under everyone's incredulous gaze, Tang Ao smashed Zhou Ji's 3 life spirits with 1 punch. With his life spirits damaged, Zhou Ji spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and collapsed to the ground. The people who mocked Tang Ao looked as if they had been struck by lightning. They were dumbfounded, and their eyeballs were about to pop out. Lin and the other 2 were once again deeply shocked by Tang Ao's strength. At the 8th tier of the body refining realm, he had taken on a life spirit that was at the pinnacle of the body refining realm with his bare hands. He had even smashed his opponent's life spirit and sent him flying, spitting blood. Chapter 92. Huaping originally thought that Zhou Ji would beat up Tang Ao, but who would have thought that he would be injured by a single punch from Tang Ao? He knew that they had hit a snag. Tang Ao walked up to Zhou Ji nonchalantly. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he sat down on Zhou Ji's body and used the sole of his shoe to slap Zhou Ji's swollen face. "Who asked you to curse? Didn't your mother teach you to be civilized? Didn't your elders teach you to treat others with respect?" Tang Ao slapped and preached at the same time. The sound of slapping and Tang Ao's preaching rose and fell one after another. There was an inexplicable rhythm to it. The crowd outside the door was shocked by this scene. There's such a fighting style? It could be said that Tang Ao's actions today had completely overturned the crowd's view of those sect disciples. Wasn't this a hooligan? Lin, Dingbo, and the rest were speechless. They covered their faces and pretended that they didn't know Tang Ao. Who would fight like this? It was either a battle of martial skills or a clash of weapons. Who would use the sole of a shoe? If the 5th elder was here, he would probably grab Tang Ao and kick his butt. Huaping's veins were already bulging on his forehead. His anger was unbearable. This was not only a slap to Zhou Ji's face, but also to the Heartless sect's face. An elite disciple of the Heartless sect, a martial artist at the peak of the body refining realm, was actually being ridden on by a martial artist who was a minor realm lower than him and beaten up with the sole of a shoe. This was a slap to the face that even his mother wouldn't be able to recognize. It was practically a pig's head. Enough. Slap, slap, slap. Huaping was completely enraged. He jumped off the building and aimed a kick at Tang Ao's back. The Jin Yuan on his legs surged. He was clearly enraged and wanted to kill Tang Ao. The crowd outside the door shrank their necks in fear and hid far away, afraid that they would be implicated. On the floor, Ada and Ding Bo stood in front of Lin to protect him from the aftermath. You're an old man in your 70s or 80s. How dare you attack a junior? Tang Ao cursed as he executed the mysterious valley leg, jumping out of the path of Huaping's attack. When Huaping saw that his kick had missed, he did not chase after Zhou Ji. Instead, he quickly transferred his true essence to Zhou Ji to stabilize his injuries. Zhou Ji's life spirit had suffered a setback, and he had been slapped dozens of times by Tang Ao. He was on the brink of death, and his swollen lips were foaming with blood. Tang Ao, you're looking for death. Zhou Ji, who had just recovered from the transfer of some quintessential essence, pointed at Tang Ao and cursed. However, because several of his teeth had been knocked out, his words were slurred. What? Tang Ao pretended to be deaf and weighed the sole of the shoe in his hand. What did you say? I didn't hear you clearly. Say it again. As he spoke, he deliberately moved closer to Zhou Ji, who was still recovering. When Zhou Ji saw the sole of the shoe in Tang Ao's hand, his body shivered, and his eyes rolled back into his head as he fainted again. After being beaten by Tang Ao like that, Zhou Ji was probably traumatized for the rest of his life. Tang Ao, that's enough. I will report this to the faction. Just wait for the heartless sex punishment. Huaping carried Zhou Ji on his back and did not forget to warn Tang Ao before he left. Tang Ao curled his lips in disdain. Welcome. I will greet you with the warmest sole of my shoe. Don't talk nonsense. Huaping did not attack Tang Ao because of his pride and turned to leave. Zhou Ji was crippled, and the Heartless sect did not have enough manpower in Water Pearl City. Huaping needed the faction to send another batch of disciples to help him. When He Yuan Jun saw her two most capable assistants run away, she panicked. While Tang Ao and the others were not paying attention, she sneaked down the stairs and slipped out of the hall. Master, where are you going? Tang Ao sat on a dining table, carelessly playing with the sole of the shoe in his hand, flicking the dust off from time to time. He Yuan Jun suddenly froze, and his body actually shivered a little. He turned around, put on the posture of a young master, and said, I'm warning you. I can't. Poor He Yuan Jun. Before he could finish his sentence, a black shadow whizzed by. Pa! With a crisp sound, He Yuan Jun's body flew out of the door and landed heavily on the ground, raising dust everywhere. A shoe fell from the air and landed right on He Yuan Jun's body. Tang Ao's indifferent voice came from the hall. Get out. If you come looking for trouble in the future, I will teach you how to be a man. He Yuan Jun covered the swollen half of his face, pushed through the crowd, and hurriedly escaped. You guys wait for me. Lin was very happy. He had been bullied by his brothers for a long time, and today he could finally hold his head up high. That was refreshing. He called out to Ada, You guys go outside and bring Master Tang's shoe in. Ada and Uncle Ding were speechless again. They shook their heads with a bitter smile, walked down the stairs, and picked up Tang Ao's shoe. Tang Ao sat on the table, took the sole that Ada handed over, and patted the dust off. Sigh. Some people, they're despicable. I have to beat them hard to teach them a lesson. Lin and the others were speechless again. Beating people with the sole of a shoe. This group of people was really like a young lady sitting in a sedan chair. Master Tang, feel free to rest here. Lin, will pay for all your expenses. All right, if anyone comes looking for trouble, come straight to me. I will recuperate first, and tomorrow I will help you fight for the position of Castellan. Tang Ao replied indifferently, and without looking back, he went back to his room to continue his enlightenment. Bastard. Trash. All trash. Ouch. He Yuan Jun pointed at Huaping in front of him and cursed, but accidentally tore the wound on his face. The pain made him suck in a breath of cold air. Huaping was also very sullen. He wanted to find trouble with Tang Ao, but in the end, Zhou Ji had been pressed to the ground by Tang Ao. If he hadn't treated him in time, Zhou Ji's cultivation would have regressed, even if he'd fully recovered. Even so, Zhou Ji wouldn't be able to go out without recuperating for a month or two. Now, he was being pointed at and cursed by a secular disciple who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If it wasn't for the sect rule that he had to help He Yuan-jun win the position of Castellan with all his might, he would have slapped him to death right now. Say something. Why are you staring at me like that? Are you trying to rebel? Seeing Huaping glare at him viciously, he actually felt a trace of fear in his heart. But when he thought about his own status, he grew bolder again. Yes, Master. What do you plan to do next? Huaping gritted his teeth in anger. If looks could kill, He Yuan-jun would have died hundreds and thousands of times already. Idiot. Trash. What's the use of you? With Zhou Ji down, who's going to the ring of heaven and earth tomorrow? If you can't find a suitable person, I'll report you to the Council of Elders. Chapter 93. He Yuan-jun seemed to have calmed down a little. He covered his swollen face, and his eyes were cold. Tomorrow, I want to see Tang Ao's corpse lying on the stage. I want everyone in Dewdrop City to know that this is the result of going against me. Early the next morning, the universe ring was filled with people who came to watch the competition. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. They surrounded the universe ring like a pancake. On the viewing platform behind the ring, there were a few young masters. Other than the 4 people who had the most hope to become the lord of the city, there was also a tall, skinny, and amiable-looking young master. Behind him was a person wearing a white robe. He was looking around absent-mindedly. Who else could it be other than Tang Ao? After yesterday's farce, the city lord changed the rules. Origin realm warriors were forbidden from fighting, or else the young master would be disqualified. There were a total of 17 tokens, 1 for every young master. After a few rounds of elimination, the number of tokens was as follows. Eldest young master He Yuanza had 6 tokens. 9th young master He Yuanshao had 3 tokens. 11th young master He Yuanyi had 4 tokens. 13th young master He Yuan-jun had 3 tokens. 17th young master He Lin had 1 token. Old 17th. I heard that you recruited a 7-kills sect disciple yesterday and even gave old 13th a vicious beating. I wonder if I can broaden my horizons. 9th young master He Yuanshao's face was full of mockery. After all, half of the 13th young master's face was still swollen. The other young masters laughed. Even the usually calm eldest young master He Yuanza couldn't help but laugh. He held it in for a while. All right, let's start today's competition. Father has already changed the rules. Everyone should know. He Yuanza purposely dragged out the last syllable and looked at He Yuan-jun meaningfully. 13th young master He Yuan-jun's face darkened. He pointed at 17th young master He Lin and cursed. Trash. Today, I will beat you until you look for your teeth all over the floor. Behind He Yuan-jun, a dozen Heartless Clan warriors rubbed their fists and palms, eager to fight. What happened yesterday was spread to the sect. The elders took it seriously and blamed Huaping for not doing his job well. After selecting a dozen elites, they gave an ultimatum. If you don't get the city lord's position, you can't return to the sect. Go! He Yuan-jun beckoned with her right hand, and a martial artist at the peak of the 8th tier of the body, refining realm, jumped onto the universe ring. He did not bow, but looked arrogantly at Tang Ao behind Yilin. Tang Ao, quickly come out and accept your death. Huaping kept cursing He Yuan-jun in his heart. It was not as if he had not seen what had happened yesterday. Tang Ao had used the sole of his shoe to beat Zhou Ji to the point where he had no chance to retaliate at all. Zhou Ji was at the peak of the body refining realm, but he had still been beaten by Tang Ao like a father beating his son. This 8th celestial layer was simply courting death if he went up. Young master, let me go. I have the confidence to deal with him. Ada volunteered. He knew Tang Ao's strength. It would be easy for him to deal with this 8th celestial layer, so he did not want to trouble Tang Ao. All right, then you can go. Be careful. He Lin patted Ada's shoulder and reminded him. Tang Ao looked at He Yuanjun, who was not far away, and suddenly showed a teasing smile. He stopped. Ada, don't. Let me go. Some people just need to be taught a lesson. He Lin and the other two saw Tang Ao's expression and shivered. They covered their faces and smiled bitterly, praying for that martial artist in their hearts. Tang Ao used Mystic Valley Kick and jumped onto the Heaven and Earth Ring with a bang. He used his hands as a pillow and said, "Hurry up and make your move. You only need one chance." Arrogant. The heartless sex martial artist was enraged. He did not expect Tang Ao to be even more arrogant than him. Suddenly, 3 life spirits appeared above his head and rushed towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao did not make any moves. It was the same as the beginning. His face was indifferent, and he did not even look at that martial artist. This made the martial artist even angrier. "Bastard! Go to hell!" Pong! At this moment, Tang Ao moved. The audience only saw a blur, and Tang Ao's figure disappeared from the ring. With the help of Mystic Valley Kick, Tang Ao's speed was 2 to 3 times faster than usual. Ordinary people could not even see Tang Ao clearly. The martial artist was stunned. Before he could react, he felt a burning pain on his face. The force on his face did not decrease, but sent the martial artist flying. The dust that was stirred up covered the entire Heaven and Earth Ring. This is impossible. The new heartless sex disciple next to He Yuanjun was in disbelief. Senior brother Jean has a 10th-fold life spirit, and he could not even block one move from him. When everyone saw Tang Ao clearly, their mouths twitched. They wanted to strangle Tang Ao immediately. The heartless sex disciples were ashamed and angry. Their faces were red with anger. Huaping's face was gloomy, and his cheeks were bulging. He probably wanted to swallow Tang Ao alive. Tang Ao was still standing where he was, holding a shoeboard in his hand. He looked at the martial artist with the surname Jean like a hunter looking at his prey. He even chuckled from time to time. The metal warrior struggled to get up. He covered the left side of his face where the shoe print was clearly visible. He glared at Tang Ao angrily. "How dare you slap me? Go to hell." Ignoring his swollen face, the metal warrior condensed 3 life spirits again. He roared and rushed toward Tang Ao. Tang Ao spread his hands helplessly. "Since you don't know what's good for you, then there's nothing I can do." After saying that, he infused true essence into the sole of his shoe and slammed it toward the 3 life spirits. Crash! Like glass shattering, the metal warrior was in disbelief. Tang Ao crushed the 3 life spirits with one shoeboard. Pah! Another slap landed on the metal warrior's face, sending him flying again. The metal warrior fell to the ground and spat out blood. There were even a few teeth in the blood. He was so ashamed that he fainted. He was slapped twice with a shoeboard in public, and he could not fight back at all. Instead of continuing to embarrass himself, he might as well faint. Therefore, he fainted immediately. The few young masters watching were so shocked that their jaws could not close. He Lin and Ada were speechless. They covered their faces and acted like they did not know him. "Who else wants to fight? Hurry up. I still need to go back to eat after you fight." Tang Ao looked at the heartless sex disciples behind He Yuanjun lazily. He did not care. This time, the heartless sect disciples were much calmer. They were not as excited as before. Based on the battle with junior brother Jean, they quickly deduced that Tang Ao was not only at the 8th tier of the body-tempering realm. To be able to use a shoeboard to crush 3 life spirits, he had to at least be at the 9th tier of the body-tempering realm. He could even fight against a half-step origin martial artist. Chapter 94. Tang Ao's clean and efficient battle caused all the martial artists present to stop underestimating him. They began to take 17th young master He Lin seriously. "If you want to fight, hurry up. Don't dilly-dally." Tang Ao put on his shoes and provoked the disciples behind He Yuanjun. "Elder, please let me go." A disciple at the 9th tier of the body refining realm begged Huaping. Following that, a few other martial artists at the 9th tier of the body refining realm also requested to fight. There were even 1 or 2 martial artists at the peak of the 9th tier of the body refining realm who requested a fight. He face-palmed and thought for a moment. He pointed at a martial artist in a black robe. Song Yuanlong, you go. Remember not to be careless. Yes, Elder. Song Yuanlong jumped out of the spectator stand and landed on the heaven and earth platform. He cupped his fists and bowed to Tang Ao. Heartless sect, Song Yuanlong. This challenger was much more polite than the previous one. Tang Ao cupped his fists and returned the greeting. 7 kills sect. Tang Ao, please. Song Yuanlong did not dare to be careless. Huh. 3 life spirits appeared above his head. 1 was the dark spirit ghost gate blade from the 4th tier. 1 was the Tianza thin thread sword from the 7th tier. And 1 was the scarlet wind shattering axe from the 10th tier. Once the 3 life spirits appeared, Yuanjuan's face revealed a proud expression. 3 weapon-type life spirits, all focused on killing. Let's see how you deal with them. Beat him to death. Yuanjun could not help but roar. However, he accidentally tore the scar on his face and grimaced in pain. Song Yuanlong's legs abruptly exerted force as he charged toward Tang Ao. His Tianze fine thread sword was aimed at Tang Ao's lower body, and each of his attacks was exceptionally crafty and vicious. The Dark Spirit Ghost Gate blade only cared about randomly slashing left and right in front of Tang Ao's chest. As for the Scarlet Wind shattering axe that came from the 10th layer of heaven, it was constantly hovering above Tang Ao's head, as if waiting for an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Tang Ao. Tang Ao remained calm and collected. He activated Mysterious Centipede Kick, and his legs exploded forward. Song Yuanlong only saw a black shadow flash past him and attacked the target in front of him who had lost sight of Tang Ao. Song Yuanlong's expression immediately changed. Not good. He hurriedly commanded the Sword Soul to return and defend. Although the Blade Soul and the Axe Soul were powerful, they were not as flexible as the Sword Soul. Not bad. Tang Ao flashed past Song Yuanlong's left side and disappeared again. Tang Ao was only testing Song Yuanlong's reaction speed with that attack just now, and the result was to Tang Ao's satisfaction. Take this. Out of nowhere, Tang Ao's voice resounded once again, causing Song Yuanlong to be startled for a moment. Hastily recalling his Blade Soul and Axe Soul, his imposing aura suddenly rose, causing the surrounding spiritual chi to rapidly converge towards Song Yuanlong. As if the sky had darkened, Song Yuanlong's surroundings were filled with a gloomy aura, and from time to time, he could hear the wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves. Senior Brother Song is going to use the Bloodlight Ghost Saber. A younger disciple behind Yuanjun shouted excitedly. The other disciples were also excited, waving their tightly clenched fists. Hoo-hoo, woo-woo. Song Yuanlong seemed to have changed into a different person. His eyes were red, and his hair stood on end. From time to time, his body would emit clouds of black mist, and the faint sound of ghosts crying could be heard. This Bloodlight Ghost Saber was a martial technique that Song Yuanlong had specially cultivated to complement the Dark Spirit Ghost Gate Saber. It was also the Life Soul that was most compatible with him. Although it was not as compatible as the Hunter Battle Spear Soul and Tang Ao, he could still use it freely and with ease. Can young Master Tang win? On the viewing platform, Helin was sweating profusely for Tang Ao. He clutched his robes tightly, almost tearing them apart. Otto was also rather anxious. Hit him! Hit him! Why is he dodging and not fighting back? Hit him! Uncle Ding was much calmer. Stroking his white beard, he chuckled and said, "Young Master, don't panic." Although young Master Tang's fighting style is not elegant, he has yet to reveal his life soul. Even a 9th-tier body refining realm cultivator like Zhou Ji could not withstand a few of young Master Tang's moves. Taking down Song Yuanlong is a piece of cake. Young Master, don't be anxious. Just watch in peace. After hearing this, Helin and Ada gradually calmed down. They were no longer anxious and quietly watched the match. The eldest, Yuanza, supported his chin and watched the match between Tang Ao and Song Yuanlong with interest. What cultivation level is this Tang Ao at? Why is he dodging and not attacking? Behind him was a martial artist. His aura was restrained, and his eyes were sharp. At first glance, one wouldn't be able to tell that he was a body refinement realm expert. He muttered to himself, "Young master, Tang Ao is like a cat playing with a mouse." Oh, he Yuanza was a little surprised. Life and death on the universe ring was in their own hands. This Tang Ao was actually playing a game. Interesting. The other young masters were also surprised and curious as they watched the two duels on the stage. In the first match, the disciple's mother could not recognize him. In the second match, he was dodging everywhere, as though he was afraid of Song Yuanlong. No matter how he attacked, he did not fight back. 15 minutes passed just like that. Song Yuanlong was gradually running out of Zhen Yuan, and many beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. On the other hand, Tang Ao was still full of energy. Mystic Centipede Kick carried his figure around the stage, dodging Song Yuanlong's attacks again and again. He even pretended to fight back from time to frighten Song Yuanlong. Song Yuanlong felt bitter in his heart. It was like a fat man who had a sting on his back, but could not scratch it no matter how hard he tried. He had strength, but nowhere to exert it, and he could not vent his anger. It was suffocating. In fact, Tang Ao was testing the effect of Mystic Centipede Kick after mastering it. After 15 minutes of calculation and verification, Tang Ao had an idea. It's time to end this. Oh, at the northwest corner of the battlefield, the air suddenly fluctuated and a bloody smell quickly spread out. Tang Ao's figure gradually appeared, and everyone felt as if they were looking at an ancient battlefield filled with golden spears and armored horses. Banners covered the sun, yellow sand billowed, and a rusty spear body, but the tip of the spear was emitting a cold light, expressing the thirst for battle. It was the 100-battle spear soul. The 100-battle spear soul materialized above Tang Ao's head and was grabbed by Tang Ao. With a flick of his hand, 8 spear flowers appeared and stabbed at Song Yuanlong. It didn't use any fancy moves, nor did it cause the slightest ripple in the air. It just pierced towards Song Yuanlong in such a simple and unadorned manner. Song Yuanlong's pupils suddenly constricted. The tip of the 100-battle spear soul grew larger in his eyes, but his feet seemed to be rooted to the ground, unable to move at all. This was a trembling, a fear that came from the depths of his soul, binding his body. The spear tip was like a hot knife through butter. Bow, bow, bow. With 3 sounds, it pierced through the 3 weapon-type life souls that automatically protected him. When it was only a centimeter away from his forehead, the spear tip suddenly stopped. That mountain-toppling momentum disappeared in an instant, as if it had never existed. Only the flying dust told the truth of what had just happened. Chapter 95. Trash. Trash. All of you are trash. On the viewing platform, Yuan Jun cursed. His expression changed faster than the flipping of a book. The 3 weapon-type life spirits were all ferocious weapons that specialized in killing. Yet, they were being played around by Tang Ao. They did not even manage to force Tang Ao to use his techniques. They did not even manage to touch Tang Ao's side before they lost inexplicably. How could Yuan Jun not fly into a rage? He repeatedly cursed the heartless sex people as trash. They were at the 9th tier of the body refining realm and could not even take down a martial artist at the 8th tier. Yet, they called themselves elites. Actually, they cannot be blamed. Who asked them to be so blind as to go against a monster like Tang Ao? If Tang Ao really went all out and used all 3 life spirits, even if Huaping came, Tang Ao would dare to exchange a few blows with him. Looking at the spear tip that was only an inch away from him, Song Yuanlong was so scared that his face turned pale. Cold sweat flowed down his temples. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Tang Ao kept the 100-battle spear soul and returned to his arena without looking back. He said arrogantly, "I haven't even used my strength. You've lost." Song Yuanlong almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He hurriedly escaped from the universe platform and ran away. He Lin, Uncle Ding, and the rest sweated. This young Master Tang really, halfway through, actually could not find the right words to describe Tang Ao. The eldest young master, He Yuanza, also chuckled. Interesting, interesting. This young Master Tang is really an interesting person. It's a pity that old 17 got lucky. A middle-aged man stepped forward. His eyebrows were like swords. Although he was thin, he gave off a tall and straight aura. Young master, it's our turn. He Yuanza waved his hand. Let him fight with old 13's people first. Let him waste his energy. When the time comes, we could just sit back and reap the benefits. The other two young masters seemed to have thought of this as well. They secretly whispered a few words to their subordinates and looked at the universe arena again. Tang Ao tidied up his clothes and pretentiously combed his hair that was not messy at all. He pointed at the heartless sect disciples behind He Yuan Jun and said, "Call out all of you who can fight. Let me slap you with my shoe." He Yuan Jun was exasperated. "Go, you bunch of trash. Let's go." She pointed at the Heartless Society disciples behind her. One of the Heartless Society disciples could not stand it. He clenched his teeth in anger and wanted to teach He Yuan Jun a lesson, but Huaping stopped him with a slight shake of his head. It was not only the disciple who couldn't take it anymore. He Yuan Jun didn't treat them as human beings at all. Some of them wanted to teach him a lesson. Unfortunately, his master had given him a death order. He had to help He Yuan Jun win the position of the Castellan. Otherwise, he wouldn't even need to come back. In fact, Huaping was having a headache. Tang Ao's ability was there for all to see. The scene of him slapping Zhou Ji with his shoe was still fresh in his mind. He roughly estimated that if he didn't have the ability of the pinnacle of the body refining realm and an extremely powerful life spirit, he wouldn't even have a 30% chance of winning against Tang Ao. He sighed softly. "You go." Huaping selected a muscular and fierce-looking disciple. It's senior brother Yin Inkai, ranked 5th in the outer sect. Senior brother Yin has 2 life spirits of level 10 and above. I also heard that one is in charge of killing while the other is in charge of defense. Their abilities are incredible. The Heartless Clan's disciples behind He Yuan Jun were in a heated discussion. They were no longer dejected from kneeling down twice. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. They all hoped that senior brother Yin could shine and teach this arrogant guy a lesson so that they could vent their anger. Yin Inkai summoned the Yin and Yang coiling dragon halberd that was in charge of killing and the floating light ancient armor that was in charge of defense. The halberd roared and the armor glowed. The crowd cheered. He Yuan Jun and the Heartless sect disciples behind her clapped and said, "Kill him. Take this." Yin Inkai roared. He ignored the greetings and salutes and went straight for Tang Ao. Tang Ao slowly touched the soles of his feet and pulled out the sole of his shoe. He pointed at Yin Inkai. "You know what? I hate people with bad manners." Yin Inkai was stunned. His vision blurred and waves of pain came from the left side of his face. He then flew backward. "Pervert!" One of the young masters on the spectator stand exclaimed. The crowd was embarrassed. They thought that Tang Ao was only hitting people on a whim. They didn't expect him to be addicted to it. He Yuan Jun was so angry that her face turned purple. She kept shouting, "Hit him! Hit him! You trash! Hit him!" Huaping and the rest of the Heartless sect disciples also clenched their fists. They hated Tang Ao so much that they gritted their teeth. They looked like they wanted to skin Tang Ao alive. He landed and kicked up a cloud of dust. "Bastard! Go to hell." Yin Inkai was not willing to give up. He activated his true yuan. Ignoring his swollen face, he attacked Tang Ao again. Tang Ao was not happy. "Why are you all so rude?" Before that, there was Zhou Ji, and now there was that guy with the surname Jean. "Why don't you have any memory?" Tang Ao slapped the sole of his shoe rhythmically. He looked at Yin Inkai, who was struggling in the distance. He Yuan Jun saw this look for the second time today. She was still scared out of her wits. "Quick, do it. You trash. Kill him. Kill him." Tang Ao walked over slowly, and he seemed to be indifferent, but his rage was gradually burning. "Today, I'll beat all of you up one by one. You talk big. Watch my halberd." Yin Inkai controlled the halberd of Yin and Yang and struck down. The halberd fell in the air. The dragon on the halberd seemed to come alive. The black and white Tai Chi diagram at the joint of the halberd, and the halberd spun rapidly. "Get lost!" Tang Ao shouted and poured his quintessential essence into the shoe, making it even stronger than a normal weapon. He hit the halberd of Yin Inkai to the side. He activated mysterious centipede kick. Whoosh! Tang Ao disappeared again. Bang! Yin Inkai's sturdy body flew out again. He smashed a big hole on the bluestone ground. He felt something sweet in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Tang Ao followed. He pressed Yin Inkai under his body. He shouted at the shoe, "You don't know manners. You don't know manners. Apologize to me. Apologize. Apologize." Yin Inkai's face was already swollen like a pig's head. His eyebrows and eyes were squeezed by the flesh. From time to time, he spat out some blood and teeth. He said vaguely, "Puff, puff, puff, puff. Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake." Tang Ao was very unhappy in his heart, so he increased his strength and continued to blow on the face that was no longer human. "Woo woo woo. I was wrong. Stop hitting me." Yin Inkai used all his strength to squeeze these words out of his mouth. He was beaten like a child and started crying. Chapter 96. Yin Inkai spat out another mouthful of old blood and fainted completely. Tang Ao raised his eyebrows and looked provocatively at He Yuan-jun and the heartless sex disciples behind her. "None of them can fight. A bunch of trash." He Yuan-jun was so angry that her face turned black. The disciples of the Heartless clan were angry and helpless. They let Tang Ao provoke them on the heaven and earth ring. He really had no choice. He couldn't beat him, and he was even beaten up by Tang Ao with the sole of his shoe. Brother Shu is invincible." Someone in the crowd gave such a slogan. Tang Ao was speechless. "How can you blame me for having good soles?" Tang Ao reluctantly accepted the nickname Shu Bro. Who else? Who else? Tang Ao stood on the universe ring with his hands behind his back. He narrowed his eyes slightly and pursed his lips. There was a moment of silence on the grandstand. What a joke. Tang Ao's strength was there for all to see. Without using true essence, those in the same realm as him, as long as they didn't reach the origin realm, they could not do anything to Tang Ao. "Young master, let's admit defeat." Waping sighed helplessly. There was no helping it. The City Lord's mansion ordered that Origin Realm cultivators could not interfere with the Universe Rings competition. Otherwise, he would have already rushed onto the stage and ruthlessly rubbed Tang Ao on the ground. He Yuan-jun was trembling all over, as if she was desperately trying to restrain herself. "Let's go. A bunch of trash. Good for nothing." Tang Ao quickly stopped him. Hey, don't worry. Leave the token behind." Progenitor, he waved her sleeves, and the 3 tokens flew towards Helin. Thud, thud, thud. The tokens stuck into the ground, and the ends were still trembling slightly. "Let's go." He Yuan-jun waved his hand and left the grandstand with a dark face. Hee, I won't be sending you off." Tang Ao cheerfully waved at He Yuan-jun to express his friendly greeting. He patted his butt and returned to his seat. After this round of elimination, Helin's group successfully obtained 4 tokens. They immediately caught up and left the 9th young master He Yuan-chao behind, keeping pace with the 11th young master He Yuan-yi. Ada hugged Tang Ao and cheered like a child. Helin also heaved a heavy sigh of relief. Compared to He Yuan-jun, who looked down on him the most, he felt much better. Uncle Ding stroked his beard behind him and looked at Ada and young master with a smile. He felt very comforted. Behind He Yuan-chao, an elder of the Heavenly Moon sect whispered into He Yuan-chao's ear that Tang Ao really has some skills. He defeated all the Heartless sect disciples in a few moves and forced He Yuan-jun to hand over the 3 tokens. Right now, we have the least number of tokens. If He Yuan-chao was suddenly enraged. His face darkened. "Do you think I don't know? I want you to talk too much. The most important thing now is how to deal with old 17 subordinates. Yes, yes. The elder hurriedly shut his mouth and didn't speak anymore. He was only an elder of the duty hall in the outer sect. He couldn't afford to offend an inner sect disciple who was one level higher than him. Moreover, He Yuanchao's mother had already become an elder of the inner sect. Her strength was far above him. The elder rolled his eyes and had an idea. I have a method. We can send a disciple at the peak of the body refining realm and let him break through to the origin realm on the field. That way, we can win against him and not violate the laws of the city leader's office. Killing two birds with one stone. If he broke through to the origin realm from the body refining realm naturally, it wouldn't be a big deal. If he used external forces, such as spirit herbs or immortal flowers, to break through to the origin realm, there wouldn't be a problem after he completely digested it. But if he used medicinal pellets to stimulate his body's potential and break through the shackles of the world, forcefully breaking through to the origin realm, it would leave hidden injuries and hidden dangers. Cultivation was originally a path that went against the heavens. Breaking the shackles of the world step by step was not allowed by the heavens. Not to mention using medicinal pellets to forcefully raise one's realm. If it was light, his cultivation wouldn't be able to advance, and he wouldn't have any hope of advancing in his entire life. If it was heavy, his life spirit would explode, and he would die. When the Heavenly Moon sect disciples behind him heard this method, a chill immediately rose in their hearts. How was this a competition? This is clearly sending one's life away. He Yuanchao retracted his angry expression, stroked his mustache, and said darkly, "Fine. I'll let you decide who to choose. You must take down that brat, Tang Ao, for me." Yes. The Heavenly Moon sect elder glanced at the disciples behind him. His dark gaze caused them to tremble with fear. Finally, his gaze locked onto a disciple who was slightly older. "Goodbye. In a moment, you will go up." "Me?" Goodbye foolishly pointed at himself. Oh, this Goodbye was immersed in the path of martial artists. His attainments in martial arts and talent had once caused the disciples present to click their tongues. But because he was ambushed in a duel, his head was injured. From then on, he became an idiot, and his cultivation naturally couldn't advance a single step. However, Goodbye was easy to command and did whatever he was told. His cultivation was also one of the top experts in the body refining realm. Naturally, it was him. The other Heavenly Moon sect disciples secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Good thing I wasn't chosen. They all distanced themselves from Goodbye, afraid that he would infect them with bad luck. After half an hour, the Heavenly Moon sect elder called out to Goodbye and gave him a black medicinal pellet. In a moment, when you go up on stage, eat this medicinal pellet. Once you're done, kill that brat, and your task will be complete. Oh, Goodbye was still as foolish as before. He had no idea that he had been tricked by the elder. Look at his stupid face. Some of the Heavenly Moon sect disciples behind him couldn't help but laugh. Their expressions were filled with schadenfreude, without the slightest bit of pity for their fellow sect members. The Heavenly Moon sect elder shouted towards the judges, "Young Master He Yuanchao's residence. Heavenly Moon sect's Goodbye requests to fight Young Master He Lin's residence. 7 kills sect's Tang Ao." Tang Ao was sipping his tea, and when he suddenly heard such a sentence, he felt depressed in his heart. "When I am here, you don't want to fight, but when I am resting, you ask to fight. What are you doing?" Young Master He Yuanchao's residence. Heavenly Moon sect's Goodbye requests to fight Young Master He Lin's residence. 7 kills sect's Tang Ao. The elder shouted again. Because he used too much strength the first time, his voice was a little muffled. "All right, I know. I accept." After a while, Tang Ao's lazy voice came from the resting area of the spectator stand. He was indifferent, as if he didn't agree to a life and death battle, but went out to play with friends. After twisting his neck and stretching his wrists and ankles, Tang Ao jumped onto the universe ring and stood opposite of Goodbye. The entire spectator stand and the universe ring were silent. Even the spectators didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Chapter 97. The scorching sun shone on the stage, making the heaven and earth ring unusually hot, but the two still hadn't made any moves. What were they doing? What's the meaning of watching and not fighting? The crowd seemed to be getting impatient. Fight! Don't just watch. The young masters on the stage were also getting impatient. They called a few attendants to prepare food and wine, preparing to watch while eating. Even Tang Ao was a bit depressed, let alone them. I'm not fighting because I'm giving you a chance to fight first. Now, I'm not fighting, and you're not fighting either. These two idiots are sunbathing on the stage. Hey, are you going to fight or not? If not, then admit defeat. I don't have time to waste with you. Tang Ao couldn't help but shout. Gu Dabai shivered, as if he had just woken up. Sorry, I fell asleep. F***CK. Tang Ao was so angry that he almost vomited blood. I thought you were preparing some shocking move. You made me sunbathe for so long. Come, let me teach you a lesson. As he spoke, the heaven and earth ring was instantly filled with the smell of blood. The 100 Battles spear soul appeared, and Tang Ao stabbed his spear at Gu Dabai. Gu Dabai's pupils shrank, and he swallowed the pill given by the elder. Ah! Shrill screams filled the entire heaven and earth ring. Gu Dabai curled up on the stage, clenching his teeth. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Tang Ao's attack paused. What the hell are you doing now? Buzz! The surrounding spirit chi fluctuated, and with Gu Dabai as the center, it started to gather. Gu Dabai's screams suddenly stopped, and he sat cross-legged on the ground. His body started to flicker. Tang Ao sensed something strange. The gathering spirit chi actually contained the vitality of a living creature. His expression changed, and he stopped attacking. He held his spear and stared at Gu Dabai's transformation. The spirit chi within 100 meters became denser, and the airflow became more and more violent. The sand and dust on the stage were all stirred up, and the vision of the audience was blurred. He Lin stood up anxiously. He frowned and looked at the stage. Originally, he thought that with Tang Ao, they would be able to suppress his brothers. Who knew which idiot did such a thing? Using the gap in the rules, he allowed a martial artist at the peak of the body refinement realm to break into the origin realm. The first level of the origin realm and the 9th level of the body refinement realm did not only have a difference of 1 level. More importantly, the degree of spiritual energy manipulation was a level higher than the body refinement realm. More importantly, it was able to use the life force of life. In front of the origin realm, the body refinement realm was as thin as water in front of the origin realm. It would collapse upon contact. If he wanted to defeat those in the origin realm, he had to consume even more true essence. He had to strike out with power that was 2, 3, 4 times stronger than those in the origin realm. Ever since Tang Ao stepped into the 8th tier of the body refining realm, his strength had also increased. Normally, he could strike out with 500 kilograms of strength. If he used the great art of ancient god moving heavens with all his might, he would barely be able to unleash a force of 1,500 pounds. One had to know that a normal person in the body refining realm would be praised by the world if they could unleash a force of 1,500 pounds. Those who could unleash a force of 1,500 pounds were cultivation geniuses. Those who could unleash a force of 1,800 pounds were monstrous and rarely seen in the world. Tang Ao had the peerless hidden jade in stone body. He had the confidence and capital to believe that he could become a rare, monstrous genius in the world. Gu Dabai's body was filled with balls of true essence. It was as if his entire body was inflated and gradually expanded. From the stands, he looked like a balloon. He'll be fine, right? He Yuanshao was completely shocked. Such a round body had already surpassed the knowledge of normal people. I'll leave it to fate. The elder secretly sighed. If it wasn't to help He Yuanshao obtain the position of the city lord, he would not have taken the risk to let Gu Dabai swallow the violet flame pill. This pill was made from 6 precious medicinal ingredients. It was already very violent. It was also refined in the octopole violet flame furnace for 36 days. Only then did it stimulate one's potential and help one break through the shackles of the world. However, after taking this pill, The probability of breaking through was like a hen laying 2 yellow eggs, extremely low. Also, the side effects were extremely great. The person who took it would never be able to break through to the second sky of the origin realm. Some people's cultivation would even regress. They would lose all of their true essence and become a cripple. After another 15 minutes, Gu-Dabai's swollen body slowly returned to its original state. The surging spirit Qi also gradually returned to normal. His entire body was full of vitality. His aura was restrained and not manic, as if he was one with the world. Every movement he made did not cause the slightest ripple in the air. There was a hidden light in his eyes. His beard and hair flew in the air, and the moon-white robe of the heavenly moon sect fluttered without any wind. Borrowing life. Origin realm. Good. Kill that brat. Seeing that Gu-Dabai had successfully broken through, Yuanchao excitedly waved his arms. The disciples of the heavenly moon sect behind him were also so excited that their faces were red. They secretly waved their fists and cheered for Gu-Dabai. Although within the sect, the strong looked down on the weak. When facing an enemy, the disciples of the sect would still work together to fight against the outside world. This point, no matter which sect it was well carried forward. Lin and Da's faces were a bit embarrassed and even a bit worried. Although Tang Ao could beat people of the same level, the difference between the origin realm and the body refining realm could not be easily made up. Young master, what should we do now? Otto was a bit panicked. His young master had obtained 3 tokens with great difficulty. In the blink of an eye, he had to give it away. Moreover, he had to give it away. This made him a bit discouraged. Lin patted Da's shoulder and smiled generously. Don't worry. Young Master Tang's life spirit has not been completely released. No one knows how strong he is. Let's continue watching. Lin smiled sadly. Also, we have already fought and eliminated He Yuanjun. Even if we lose, we have gained face. Uncle Ding looked at Lin with gratification and nodded. He felt gratified for his young master's growth. The surrounding crowd was completely stupefied. In the secular world, the origin realm was high up. They were existences that they looked up to. Today, they actually witnessed the birth of an origin realm warrior. Those who originally thought highly of young master Lin and Tang Ao all started to support young master Yuanchao. Some fanboys and girls even directly threw the fan tokens with Lin and Tang Ao's names on them and loudly shouted Yuanchao's name. Tang Ao held his forehead and smiled. He did not want to argue with the people of the secular world. Don't think that just because you have broken through to the origin realm, you will definitely win. If you break through at the last minute like this, the one who will be hurt will still be you. Gu-Dabai's voice was hoarse. The light in his eyes was about to shoot out. Don't worry, I only need to defeat you. Tang Ao held his spear and stepped forward. Then let's try. Bo. Chapter 98. Blue Spirit Shining Shield of the 4th Sky. Azure Celestial Rope of the 8th Sky. Bright Moon Rod of the 11th Sky. Senior Gu is so powerful. A disciple from the Heavenly Moon sect yelled. The elder smiled in disdain. He used to be a powerful figure in the Heavenly Moon sect. Too bad his head was injured and his mind was not clear. Otherwise, he would be another powerful figure. Tang Ao was not in the mood to listen to the nonsense of the people on the stage. He focused all of his attention on Gu-Dabai's every move. Although Gu-Dabai's life spirit was not as insane as Tang Ao's, the difference in cultivation level could make up for the weakness of his life spirit. Next, it was a battle of familiarity with weapons. Against an origin realm warrior, Tang Ao did not have the time to joke around. He did not dare to be careless. Holding the 100 battle spear soul, the slaughter spear's artistic conception was attached to the spear. Watch out! Gu-Dabai did not retreat. He controlled the dazzling celestial rope and attacked Tang Ao like a snake. At the same time, the Chu Huidun shrunk to protect his vital parts. Then he swung the rod at Tang Ao's head. Whoosh whoosh! The rod was like the wind. It smashed through the air and went for Tang Ao's head. Tang Ao was shocked. He quickly put away his 100-battle spear and activated Profound Centipede's kick. His speed instantly increased by 3 times, and he managed to dodge Gu Dabai's staff by a hair's breadth. However, he still felt a few staff glares, and they pierced his skin until it turned red. To think that an ordinary and blunt staff could actually produce such a sharp edge in his hands. Tang Ao took the opportunity to increase the distance between him and Gu Dabai. An Origin Realm warrior can borrow vitality. That ray of light just now must have borrowed the essence of plants and then condensed it. Hua! Tang Ao waved his robe, and 2 small swords containing the Undying Sword will shot out towards Gu Dabai. They grew in the wind and turned into 3-feet-long swords, blocking Gu Dabai's celestial light rope and sky illuminating rod. While Gu Dabai was fighting against the Green Lotus Sword Soul, Tang Ao used his iron steel sand. His body was covered with a layer of black particles, and he raised his 100-battle spear and stabbed towards Gu Dabai again. Ding! Dang! Clang! 2 people and 5 weapon souls were locked in a stalemate. The weapon souls clashed with each other, creating sparks from time to time. Fists and palms alternated, creating many afterimages. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Oh my god! Young Master Tang can actually fight to a draw with an Origin Realm martial artist. That's impossible. Young Master Tang only revealed 2 life souls. Does he only have 2 life souls? The 4 young masters were dumbfounded, their eyeballs almost popping out of their sockets. He Yuan Chao hiddenly gulped. Didn't you say that as long as you reach the Origin Realm, you can kill Tang Ao? The Heavenly Moon Sect Elder was momentarily speechless. The faces of the disciples behind him were filled with disbelief. Some of them even rubbed their eyes. However, this was the truth. Tang Ao, with 2 life souls and 3 Origin Realm martial artists, was evenly matched with Gu Dabai. Young Master Helin was both excited and nervous. He knew that he had found the right person, but when he saw that Tang Ao was in danger from time to time, he clenched his fists and was worried for Tang Ao. The 2 people on the field had already exchanged more than 200 moves. The speed of their attacks was getting faster and faster. Normal people could barely see the 2's figures. They could only hear the continuous sounds of fighting coming from all directions of the field. The more Tang Ao fought, the more shocked he became. His invisible jade in stone body was already circulating at a rapid pace. The acupoints within his body shone with dazzling light, and the layer of iron steel sand covering his body grew over a dozen times. However, he originally wanted to use Gu Dabai to test his own strength, so he did not plan to summon the 8-treasure goose plume sword soul. The more Gu Dabai fought, the more excited he became. He was originally a simple-minded person. For someone to be able to exchange blows with him was one of the happiest things in his life. Therefore, his attacks became fiercer and fiercer, and his strength became greater and greater. His strength was approaching 1,400 pounds. No, this idiot is getting more and more excited, and his strength is also increasing. The speed of the iron steel sand covering is starting to slow down. Tang Ao borrowed Gu Dabai's illuminating sky rod and suddenly jumped away, landing far away. It's about time to try. I need to use all my strength to have a chance of beating him. Wah! Another wave of spiritual energy came. The Green Lotus Sword Soul above Tang Ao's head, the Spear of Slaughter in his left hand, and the 8-treasure goose plume sword in his right. The ancient god, moves the heavens, was quickly activated. His aura once again climbed to a new peak, and he was actually evenly matched with Gu Dabai. How is this possible? 8-treasure goose plume sword soul. The surrounding crowd was shocked again. He is actually evenly matched with a warrior of the Origin Realm. He is only at the 8th level of the body tempering realm. No wonder he can beat up a warrior at the 9th level of the body tempering realm. Brother Shu is mighty. There are also people cheering loudly, cheering for Tang Ao. He Yuan Chao jumped up from the spectator stand, his eyes wide open. How is this possible? The elder also had a face of disbelief. No wonder this brat can take Hua Ping's attack head on. He really does have this strength. Gudabai's voice was hoarse. Very good. This is the best way to fight. Just as he finished speaking, Gudabai quickly gathered the surrounding life force and used his spiritual will to control the rod and shield rope to attack Tang Ao. Tang Ao did not panic in the face of danger. He was calm and composed. Holding the spear and the blade, a green lotus bloomed above his head, and an invincible sword body swam around his body, radiating light in all directions. Activating mysterious centipede kick with a bang, the stone slabs under his feet cracked, and Tang Ao used the force to shoot out. Bang, bang, bang. The two of them fought again, and their figures disappeared from the Chinquan ring. But from time to time, one or two rays of light shot out, revealing the two's position. The stone floor under their feet was shaken by thousands of pounds of force, and Tang Ao and Gudabai were hit down from time to time, creating large holes on the stone floor. Yuan's shocked face gradually turned gloomy. Tang Ao's strength had exceeded his expectations. If he let him go on like this, all the 17 tokens would be taken by Lin sooner or later. Immediately, Yuan's waved his hand, and the lean man listened to the order, nodded, and left. Lin could not stay calm again. First, he was shocked by Tang Ao's strength, and second, the two of them were evenly matched. If someone provoked Tang Ao later, he was afraid that Tang Ao would not be able to fight back. The contestants were not anxious, but the spectators were as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Unexpectedly, Tang Ao still had the mind to pay attention to the movements in the stands. Every move just now was seen by Tang Ao. In reality, Tang Ao had already figured out Gu Dabai's fighting style. Although the people of Heavenly Moon Sect found a warrior at the peak of the body refining realm, his brain was not very good. He only met force with force and did not know any fighting techniques. In other words, he had forgotten how to fight. Chapter 99. Lin and the others saw Tang Ao's playful smile and immediately broke out in a cold sweat. They thought to themselves, it's over. This idiot is probably going to fall into Tang Ao's trap again. As expected, Tang Ao flipped a few times and jumped to the edge of the ring of heaven and earth. He extended his hand and waved. Come on, idiot. Goodbye was in high spirits, so how could he just give up? He controlled the 3-weapon spirits and attacked Tang Ao. His power was like the tide, and he was like lightning. Tang Ao, on the other hand, was as calm as if he was taking a stroll in the park. He was not afraid of Goodbye's fierce attacks at all. The distance between the two was getting closer and closer. Goodbye's eyes let out a red light, and the speed at which he controlled his weapon spirits became faster and faster. Now, when the two were so close that Tang Ao could even feel the bone-piercing sharpness of the bright moon illuminating sky rod, Tang Ao's body roared. The great art of the ancient god moves the heavens was suddenly activated, and the mysterious centipede kick was added to his body. Whoosh! Goodbye's vision blurred, and Tang Ao's figure disappeared. He was stunned for a moment and wanted to stop, but he was already standing at the edge of the ring of heaven and earth. He slipped and rushed out. Tang Ao, you are despicable and shameless. Yuan Chao was furious. He pointed at Tang Ao and cursed. The elite disciples of the Heavenly Moon Sect behind him were also extremely angry. One after another, they began to criticize Tang Ao. In their eyes, a martial artist at the Origin Realm was already ahead above Tang Ao in terms of cultivation. However, Tang Ao used Gu Dabai's simple and honest nature and used a scheme to win against Gu Dabai. Tang Ao had a face full of disdain. He pointed at Yuan Chao's seat and said, "You bullied him because he was simple and honest. You used medicinal pellets to help him break through to the Origin Realm to fight with me. He has no hope of advancing anymore. You're the most despicable ones." When these words came out, the crowd was in an uproar. So despicable. So he used medicinal pellets. A bunch of shameless bastards. They even caused my cultivation base to be sealed. This kind of person doesn't deserve to fight for the position of City Lord. He should be kicked out. Yes. Scram. Get down. The angry crowd waved their arms and shouted, expressing their dissatisfaction. As the eldest young master, Yuanza, stood up. Everyone, calm down. Everyone, please calm down. There were still many flaws in the Universe Rings competition. The City Lord's manor would change the rules again to make it more fair. Regarding this competition, we have unanimously decided to stop the competition after discussing it. We will continue the competition after the new selection rules are formulated tomorrow. The spectators reluctantly left. Some sighed, some were dissatisfied. The thrilling battles were a feast for the eyes. Tang Ao put away his life soul, still looking as relaxed as ever. This infuriated He Yuan Chao and the others. The elder of the Heavenly Moon sect thought for a while and said in a low voice, "When the competition is over, I will personally go." As he said this, he made a chopping gesture. He Yuan Chao smiled sinisterly. "Remember to do it quickly. Don't let anyone find out." "Yes." On the other side, Tang Ao shivered. "Why do I have a creepy feeling?" He rubbed his nose, ignored him, and went straight back to his own restaurant. Tang Ao showed off his skills in the Universe Ring and became famous. His 3 life souls had already been exposed, so he had to increase his strength one step further. Tang Ao ate something and enjoyed listening to the praises and discussions of the common people. He also had a helpless expression. People are afraid of being famous as pigs are afraid of being fat. Returning to his room, Tang Ao closed his eyes and sank into cultivation. After the battle with the Origin Realm martial artist, Tang Ao had some thoughts. Although he had comprehended the Spear of Slaughter, he did not have a suitable spear technique. The 7-kill art of slaughter needed to completely gather all 7 weapons in order to display its power. He had to speed up the cultivation and comprehension of the spear technique. "May I ask if young Master Tang is here?" A clear voice came from outside the door. "I am Lao Tianyu. My young master sent me here to discuss something with you." "Oh? Please come in." Tang Ao lowered his head and pondered. He was very confused. Could it be that my performance was too dazzling and some young master came and wrote me in? Tang Ao was a little devil after all, so he still had this bit of thinking ability. Soon, a tall and thin figure walked in. His aura was restrained, and he walked with great strength. With one look, one could tell that he had extraordinary strength. "I am Lao Tianyu. I am under the orders of my young master, He Yuanza, to discuss something with you." Tang Ao was calm and crossed his legs. "Don't beat around the bush. If you have something to say it quickly. I'm tired and want to rest." Lao Tianyu saw Tang Ao like this and felt somewhat unhappy. Who was He Tianza? He was the young master of Water Pearl City. He had many cultivators under him and a large number of outstanding and capable martial artists. No matter where Lao Tianyu went, he was treated with respect and treated as a distinguished guest. Unlike Tang Ao, who was so rude that he did not even look at him. "My young master said that if you can help my young master ascend to the City Lord's throne, he will definitely not mistreat young Master Tang." "Oh? If I help He Yuanza obtain the position of the Patriarch, how will he repay me?" "What does young master want?" Water Pearl City's subsidiary 7 Kills sect. 40% of the annual tribute. Lao Tianyu's face darkened. "Young master, please don't joke. This Water Pearl City is only an inch big. Other than the tribute to the Empire, we also have to pay for the city's guards, the city's repairs, and other expenses. If there is a war, we still have to borrow money. How can we take out 40% of the income to pay tribute to 7 Kills sect? If you don't have 40%, then forget about it." Tang Ao turned his head and looked at the scenery outside the window, no longer paying attention to Lao Tianyu. Lao Tianyu gradually became angry. "My young master has a large number of martial artists with high cultivation following him. The position of the city lord will be his sooner or later. Young master, don't cast pearls before swine and ruin your future." Comparing the strength of this He Lin and my young master, I hope that young master will carefully consider who is stronger. If my young master becomes a city lord, then don't. Lao Tianyu wanted to say something, but hesitated. There was no threat in his words, but the threatening intent was overwhelming. Tang Ao's expression was cold. He looked at Lao Tianyu coldly. His aura suddenly burst out, and his clothes fluttered without any wind. "You are threatening me." Lao Tianyu snorted coldly and said arrogantly, "Young master has a high cultivation. How would I dare?" "Kneel down and kowtow in apology. Otherwise, I will kill my way to He Yuan's mansion and twist his head off to use as a chamber pot." With a thought, the 100 battles spear soul appeared above Tang Ao's head. The slaughter spear intent was attached to the spear, and a thick smell of blood spread out. Lao Tianyu was not to be outdone. "I have long heard that young master has a peerless fate spirit. Today, I must learn from you." Above Yang Kai's head, 3 fate spirits appeared. "Sorry, take this." Chapter 100. Layers of shadows were pushed out from the palm of the iron steel grid, and with a mysterious centipede kick, Tang Ao's legs became incorporeal. Pan. Lao Tianyu released all his life spirits, but he lost the chance to defend himself and was kicked by Tang Ao. His body was sent flying through the wooden window and fell on the street. Tang Ao immediately jumped off the building and chased after Lao Tianyu, but Lao Tianyu had already run far away. Asking for trouble, Tang Ao was observing the direction in which Lao Tianyu escaped, but he suddenly shivered. This feeling was like walking in the forest and being watched by a wolf. "Not good. I'm afraid I'm being watched." Tang Ao looked calm on the surface, but in fact, he was very surprised. He had never done anything devoid of conscience, so why was he being targeted by others? Maybe it was because he had beaten up a few people in the past 2 days, and their master was not happy. Thinking of this, Tang Ao felt very helpless. Not only did they compete in the universe ring, but they also brought it to the stage. Old Lin said that the relationships in Waterdrop City are complicated, and he was not exaggerating. Tang Ao strolled leisurely on the street, looking left and right. Coupled with his gorgeous robe and handsome face, the passers-by really thought that he was some rich playboy. In fact, Tang Ao had been very tense, looking around and paying attention to every move of the passers-by, and immediately running away if anything happened. Tang Ao did not believe that his invisible jade body and stone and mysterious centipede kick would not be able to get rid of him, and he might even be able to take the opportunity to kill him. The cold feeling behind him grew stronger, and Tang Ao became more and more playboy and more roguish. He adjusted his breathing to this girl and asked about that girl. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the east gate of Waterdrop City. The 12 gates of Waterdrop City led directly to the most prosperous and frequent 12 cities and regions. Naturally, it was quite spacious and gorgeous, and there was still room for a dozen carriages to go side by side. Tang Ao aimed at an empty BMW with dragons and phoenixes carved on it, and lightly jumped on it without a trace of Jin Yuan. His movements were as fast as the wind, and almost no one noticed him. The coachman did not know anything about it and drove out of the city. After a long time, a black shadow flashed out from the darkness of the city wall. A pair of cold-blooded wolf-like eyes glanced around the city gate before disappearing into the darkness again. 20 miles away from the east gate was a forest. Starting from there, the road was no longer solid and flat, and became full of potholes. The forest was lush, and the tree trunks were as thick as pillars. On one of the big trees, Tang Ao was lying down with his legs crossed, enjoying his time. "So you're here? What? Aren't you going to continue running?" A black shadow flashed out from the shadow of a tree trunk not far away. The voice was hoarse, like the sound of sharp metal objects rubbing against each other. Tang Ao leisurely hummed an unknown tune. "Naturally, I need to rest when I'm tired of running. Moreover, even if I'm going to die, I want to know why I'm going to die." The black shadow laughed. "Don't worry. When you're dead, I'll slowly tell you." As it spoke, the black shadow disappeared. Whoosh! When it reappeared, it landed right below the branch that Tang Ao was on. Tang Ao was still calm in the face of danger, borrowing life force divine ability to hide. I don't know which young master really thinks highly of me, to actually send an origin realm martial artist to assassinate me. The Black Shadow shouted, "Take this." As it spoke, the Black Shadow made a finger seal with its right hand, manipulating the life force of the trees to condense into a few greenish-brown nails, which shot towards Tang Ao. The flying wooden nails did not stir up the air, nor did they make any sound of breaking the air. They flew straight, and were almost twice as fast as the hidden weapons thrown by the body, refining realm martial artists. Tang Ao seemed to be indifferent, but in reality, he had been watching his every move. When he was about to throw, Tang Ao had already used the mysterious centipede kick and jumped onto another tree. Bang! As soon as Tang Ao left, the wooden nail behind him hit the place where he was just lying, creating a small hole that was about an inch wide. The wooden nail was condensed from life force, and under the control of the Black Shadow, once it hit, it would immediately explode. Its power was extraordinary. Tang Ao wanted to test himself against an Origin Realm martial artist again to see the difference between him and the Origin Realm. Although Gu Dabai was also an Origin Realm martial artist, he had broken through at the last minute and had not fully used his life force yet. In terms of strength, he was a little bit weaker than a real Origin Realm martial artist. Moreover, he was simple and honest and did not know how to combine skills and strength. So, Tang Ao's estimation of Gu Dabai was somewhat off. Buzz buzz. The spirit energy around Tang Ao fluctuated, and then whoosh whoosh whoosh, 3 life spirits appeared. The life spirits turned from nothingness to substance, and they flew up and down around Tang Ao. On top of his head, a green lotus spun, emitting a peaceful, immortal aura. In his left hand, he held the green lotus sword that was born from the green lotus, and in his right hand, he held the 100 battle spear soul. The spear's intent of the slaughter spear was added to the spear's body, and the smell of blood rushed towards him. Green lotus sword soul, and it even has the indestructible sword soul. No wonder you have such amazing battle power. The Black Shadow said coldly, "However, all of this will be buried with you." Tang Ao took a deep breath. "Whether or not I will be buried with you, I will only know after I try. Watch my spear." The slaughter spear drew a strange arc, breaking through layers of air barriers, as if it was going to destroy everything, and attacked the Black Shadow. Although the spear's body was rusty, the spearhead was full of blood, and it was still shining with a cold light. "Good boy." The black-clothed man did not reveal his life spirit. Instead, he took out a slender soft sword. The sword's body was engraved with diamond patterns, and there was a bright green pearl on the sword's hilt. With one look, one could tell that the quality was extraordinary. The spear and the sword clashed, and sparks flew in all directions. The sharp sound of metal clashing was ear-piercing. With just one move, Tang Ao was shocked. From the soft sword came layers of huge power through the 100 battle spear soul to his hand. Even 100 battle spear soul was hit until it was flickering and it almost fell out of his hand. Damn, I thought it was only a little bit more. I didn't expect the gap to be so big. This guy's strength is at least 20,000 pounds, and he threw me 4,000 pounds. My God. Tang Ao was shocked again. I have to use the ancient god moving sky magic to make up for it. Otherwise, even if I'm not killed by him, I will be shocked to death by his huge strength. Calculating in his heart, Tang Ao quickly activated the ancient god moving sky magic. Suddenly, Tang Ao felt a warm flow in his meridians, and his muscles swelled. With a light clench, he could have dozens of pounds of strength. Again, Tang Ao roared, raised the slaughter spear, and waved the green lotus sword, fighting with the Black Shadow in close combat. Chapter 101. You'll have to be able to kill me first. Watch my spear. The Black Shadow's strength rose steadily and finally reached 24,000 pounds. On the other hand, Tang Ao's strength had also reached a shocking 21,000 pounds with the continuous operation of the ancient god moving sky technique. So my current limit is 21,000 pounds of strength. After exchanging dozens of blows with the Black Shadow, Tang Ao had a new estimation of his strength. Fortunately, the Black Shadow was using a soft sword, which consumed a lot of power transmission. Fortunately, Tang Ao had practiced the iron steel sand to the 6th stage of the tremor formula, which offset a lot of the damage. Otherwise, Tang Ao's bones and tendons would have been broken. Even so, Tang Ao's arms were sore and numb. His arms, which were holding the spear and sword, were gradually numb and losing feeling. No, if this continues, his life spirit will definitely be knocked away, and he will take the opportunity to kill me. He was gradually in a disadvantageous position, and his attacks were gradually weakening. Tang Ao was anxious. The Black Shadow was also very surprised. He thought that Tang Ao had only used some elixir to temporarily increase his cultivation and would recover after a while. He did not expect that after exchanging more than 10 blows with him, not only did his strength not weaken, but it had also gradually increased by a few thousand pounds. With the help of the exchange, the two separated and stood on 2 tall trees, staring at each other coldly. Whoosh! Whoosh! A multicolored tiger soul and a golden saber suddenly appeared above the Black Shadow's head. I didn't want to use my life spirit. Your strength is beyond my expectations, but it's still over. Roar! The multicolored tiger soul pounced, saliva flowing from its mouth. Although it was a life spirit, its ferocity was no different from a real one. The Black Shadow followed closely behind the multicolored tiger, manipulating the golden saber soul and slashing at Tang Ao. The saber soul's radiance suddenly soared, and the golden light was dazzling. Not good. Tang Ao leaped into the air and hit the multicolored tiger soul's head with his spear. Then, using the recoil force, he leaped into the air again and stabbed at the Black Shadow with his spear. At the same time, the green lotus sword guarded his left and right sides, forming a pincer attack. Bang! The saber and spear collided, emitting a thunder-like sound that shook the birds in the distance and caused them to fly away. When the two collided, the difference of 3,000 jin became a heavenly mote, causing Tang Ao to fly backward. Little brat, you're still too young to compete with me in strength, the Black Shadow said in a hoarse voice. He was somewhat pleased with himself as he leaped forward and chased after Chuyang. Tang Ao smiled playfully. Oh, really? Then have a taste of this. As he spoke, he flicked his finger, and a black pill the size of a pebble flew toward the shadow. The Black Shadow was stunned for a moment. He reached out to catch the pill and laughed. What? You don't have any skills and want to use a pill to get rid of me? Explode. Tang Ao's mind moved. Boom! With a bang, everything within a radius of 100 feet was razed to the ground. A crater dozens of meters wide appeared on the ground, and the ground was burnt black by the enormous energy. The Black Shadow was blown to the point where it was hard to find a trace of it. A foot-thick layer of ash had accumulated in the big pit. It was unknown whether a skeleton could be pieced together from it. Oh ho! Amazing! Tang Ao walked out from behind a tree trunk that required 5 or 6 people to wrap their arms around. He looked at the barren land in front of him and was shocked by the power of the exploding pill. This old Lin is not bad. He gave me such a powerful protective artifact. I'll ask him for a few more when I get back. Achoo! Far away in 7 Kills sect, Lin Jiang sneezed inexplicably and rubbed his nose. What's going on? Did I catch a cold? At this moment, if he knew what Tang Ao was thinking, he would probably pick him up and give him a good beating. Tang Ao walked to the center of the big pit. The barren land in front of him made him sigh. TSK, TSK. What a pity. You said you were courting death and even destroyed the scenery. Serves you right for not even having a corpse left. Tang Ao looked carefully in the pile of dust. A shiny object attracted his attention. Tang Ao found a wooden stick and picked that object up to examine it carefully. This was a silver and jade ring. Under the mottled sunlight in the forest, it reflected a dazzling light. There were unknown symbols carved on the ring, and they seemed to be swimming around the ring. This can't be a storage ring, right? Tang Ao looked at this ring with some doubt. He had seen similar rings on his father, Tang Zhan, and he had also seen similar rings on Lin Jiang. He immediately confirmed that this was a storage ring. Tang Ao's divine sense passed through the ring and arrived in a strange space. The space was only a few dozen feet in size. There were some gold and silver treasures scattered in the corners. There was a wooden bookshelf at the side, and secret manuals were arranged neatly. This discovery made Tang Ao smile. Good. I didn't expect this guy to have so many good things. They're all mine. Earth Wolf Fong Technique. A technique exclusive to the Wolf Fong technique. There are 8 levels in total. At the end of it, you can split mountains. Not interested. Tang Ao looked at it and threw it far away. Soul Capturing Saber. At the end of it, you can split the clouds and cut the moon. Interesting. I can make do with the 7 kill art before I learn it. Tiger Form Fist. A fist technique that imitates the form of a fierce tiger. The power is layered, and the final strike can split mountains. Tianzi Dragon Slaying Art. 4 symbols Earth Shaking Art. Ha. Tang Ao laughed presumptuously. This way, he could first practice the 7 weapons before learning the 7 kill art. When the time came, he only needed to find the 7 weapon life spirits, and he could practice directly. Tang Ao looked around and found a herb cabinet on the other side. Some urgent medicinal herbs could be found here. In a lower cabinet, Tang Ao found a cabinet full of bottles and jars. Damn, this little tycoon, how many good things is he hiding? Using his divine sense to investigate, he was shocked. More than a dozen bottles were stuffed full of medicinal pills. There were circulation pills, spirit-gathering pills, and so on. Not only were there a lot of them, but the quality of the medicinal pills was also pretty good. They were round in color, exquisitely carved, and exuded a refreshing fragrance. Tang Ao roughly checked and hid the storage ring. After all, he was in the outer realm and could not expose his wealth, especially something like a storage ring, which was extremely rare in the secular world. Among thousands of people, the number of people who could find a storage ring could not be more than one hand. I have to hurry back. There was such a loud noise in this place, and the flames soared to the sky. There will definitely be people coming to investigate. It's better to leave first. Activating the mysterious centipede kick, Tang Ao disappeared into the horizon. Not long after Tang Ao left, there were people coming to investigate. They wore gray robes with a crescent moon embroidered on their chests. They were the disciples of the heavenly moon sect beside He Yuan Chao. Chapter 102. Senior Qilan, it should be around here. The last place Elder Yang revealed was here. A disciple in charge of communication reported to him. Qilan didn't say anything. She squatted down and picked up some charred soil to sniff. Her face immediately turned pale. There was a trace of medicinal fragrance after the explosion. It should be the explosion pill. I'm afraid Elder Yang is in grave danger. What should we do? Without Elder Yang's command, how can we help young Master He Yuan Chao? The disciples discussed. What are you panicking for? Qilan was a bit dissatisfied. At a time like this, we need to be calm. Gao Guang, contact the sect. Other disciples, carefully search this area. Don't let go of any clues. Yes, Tang Ao hummed an unknown song as he leisurely strolled on the street. This time, no one chased after him, so naturally, he leisurely strolled here and there. After a long time, he finally returned to the restaurant. Closing his eyes, Tang Ao once again went on a mental journey. He fought against 2 Origin realm martial artists with real swords and spears. That was extremely beneficial for his breakthroughs. Under high pressure, an indescribable potential would be stimulated. Tang Ao took a deep breath. First, he operated the ancient god moving the heavens. After one cycle, Tang Ao immediately felt his blood and qi filling up. His entire body was filled with strength. Right now, Tang Ao's first level of cultivation, blood and qi, was almost done. Now, he only lacked a breakthrough. Good. I'm starting to break through to the ninth heaven. In his dantian, the hazy ball of light gradually emitted light. It quickly gathered with a mouthful of chi that Tang Ao swallowed. At that moment, the light became even more dazzling. Tang Ao grasped the opportunity and quickly broke through the shackles of heaven and earth, heading towards the ninth heaven. After successfully breaking through, Tang Ao let out a long breath. Now, I just have to wait for the mayor's office to make new rules for the competition tomorrow. This is really interesting. To target me, they changed the rules twice. Are they not afraid of the world saying that they are fickle? Without thinking further, Tang Ao began to recite the other two manuals that Lin Jiang had given him, Ice Crystal Sword and Ancient Spirit Finger. The power of these two secret manuals was exaggerated by Lin Jiang. It was really not easy to cultivate. As the saying goes, there is no sun or moon in the mountains. It means that one would forget the passage of time while doing something. Just like the current Tang Ao, he was completely engrossed in cultivation, unable to extricate himself. It was already the second day. Learning and cultivating really makes people happy. Tang Ao recalled what he had learned that night. Ice Crystal Sword and Ancient Spirit Finger were both at the small success stage. He no longer needed to rely solely on his life spirit to fight. What a pity! There was not a single spear technique manual that was suitable for the slaughter spear soul. Or else I would really dare to fight to the death against the origin realm. Tang Ao was a bit regretful that he could not find a suitable spear technique from the pile of treasures in the Black Shadow. As soon as he left the restaurant, Lin walked in with Ada and Uncle Ding. Young Master Tang. Thank you, young Master Tang, for helping me win the competition yesterday. I prepared some small gifts. I hope young Master Tang will like them. Young Master must be joking. Since I have promised young Master to become the mayor, I will definitely do my best and will not go back on my words. Oh, right. What are the rules of today's competition? Tang Ao said a few polite words and asked about the competition. Today, the City Lord's mansion has issued an order. From noon today, the 4 young masters will each lead 4 attendants to the Heavenly Cloud Mountains, 100 miles southwest of Waterpearl City, to hunt. They must return before sunset. The one who catches the most valuable prey will be the winner and will become the next City Lord. Hunting, Tang Ao said in a low voice. Young Master, don't worry. I will do my best to help young Master become the mayor. Lin was in high spirits. Young Master Tang, you don't have to stand on ceremony. Yesterday, young Master Tang helped me teach He Yuan Jun a lesson. It made me feel very happy. Today, we don't have to be too hard on ourselves. We just need to do our best. Without saying much, Lin led Tang Ao to put on his hunting clothes and the carved bow. They followed the crowd and gathered at the West Gate. The West Gate was already packed with people who had come to watch the excitement. A high platform was built in the open space outside the city, and 7 judges dressed in luxurious clothes stood high above it. Everyone, today is a good day for the City Lord election. The person who brings back the most valuable prey will win and take over the position of the next City Lord. It's noon. As soon as the announcer finished speaking, He Yuanza and He Yuani led their followers and rushed toward the Cloud Mountains. Young Master, I will go in front to clear the way. Young Master, just follow me slowly. Tang Ao touched his body and activated his Mystic Valley Kick. After greeting Lin, he also ran toward the mountain range. The first time I entered the Forbidden Area, I leveled up 3 realms and learned the Killing Spear. I wonder how it will be this time. I'm a little excited. Thinking about it, Tang Ao quickened his pace. Although He Yuanza and He Yuani set off later, Tang Ao gradually caught up. He saw the 2 young masters leading their followers and running on the main road, dust flying behind them. Seeing that he was about to catch up, Tang Ao deliberately slowed down. If I overtake them, they will definitely be alerted. They might even join forces to suppress me. It's better to be careful. 2 hours later, He Yuanza was the first to reach the forest of the Cloud Mountains. 11th, I'm going in first. Yuanza deliberately shouted loudly to show off his extraordinary strength. A moment later, the 11th young master, Yuani, also reached the forest. He snorted, "Let's go too." The Cloud Mountains were the main mountain range in this area. The peak of the Cloud Mountains was surrounded by clouds all year round. The forest was rich in resources, supporting hundreds of thousands of people in the vicinity. Before long, Tang Ao led young master He Lin and his group to the foot of the Cloud Mountains. This is the Cloud Mountains. Danger lurks everywhere in the forest. Everyone, be careful. Tang Ao, who had experience living in the forest, repeatedly warned He Lin, Ada, and the others. Only then did he feel assured and lead the group into the forest. Outside the forest, the sun was shining brightly. Once inside, the sky darkened. The naked eye could only see a few dozen feet around them. Beyond that, it was a patch of dusk. The forest was damp and cold, and venomous snakes and pests would come out from time to time. If not for the fact that the group was extremely vigilant, they probably would have died here before they had even entered. There were only some weak wild beasts on the outskirts of the forest. They were equivalent to the first or second tier of the body refining realm. These were useless to them, and Tang Ao and the others naturally did not bother with them. A little aura was enough to scare them away. After walking for a while, they realized that the trees they encountered were getting thicker and thicker. There were fewer wild beasts, but their strength was also getting higher. Chapter 103. Tang Ao and his team moved forward cautiously. The trees were getting thicker and thicker, and the trunks they encountered were getting thicker and thicker. Because they went too deep into the forest, they didn't encounter many exotic beasts. But if they did encounter one, it would definitely be a very powerful existence that would make Tang Ao and his team flustered. Tang Ao led the way in front, leading the team into the depths of the forest. To find the most valuable exotic beasts, they had to keep moving forward in order to have a chance of encountering them. Lower your breath to the lowest level, so as not to attract the attention of other exotic beasts. Tang Ao had rich experience in living in the forest, so he reminded He Lin and Ada about the places they should pay attention to. Wait! Tang Ao suddenly stopped the team. They stopped and stood back to back, looking around vigilantly. In front of them, there was a clear line of paw prints leading to the depths of the forest. Not far from the tree trunk, there was an animal's carcass that had been eaten to the bones. He squatted down and carefully examined the characteristics of the paw prints and the teeth marks on the animal carcass. He said, "There's a thick layer of dead branches and leaves in this area, and this line of paw prints is very deep. There are obvious marks of sharp claws on the place where the toe bone is. Judging from the marks on the carcass, there is at least such a hole. It is very likely to be an exotic beast like tiger or wolf." Tang Ao roughly measured it. It was a mouth the size of a well and a paw print the size of a human's face. F***CK. Otto was startled. He held his breath, even more for fear of being discovered by the exotic beast. Don't panic. If the exotic beast appears, we will fight it if we can beat it. If we can't, we will split up and meet up outside the forest. Now follow behind me, and Ada will follow behind young master. We will explore our way slowly. Tang Ao was calm and ordered the team to move forward in an orderly manner. Let's hold on a little longer. We will reach the foot of the mountain in about 2 miles. That is the final destination of our hunt. All the precious beasts are there. Tang Ao guided the team in front and encouraged them to move forward bravely. Roar! A deafening roar of a tiger came from the depths of the forest, and there was a fishy smell in the air. Tang Ao and the other two shivered instantly. They stared ahead and did not dare to move. Wait here, I'll go take a look. Tang Ao executed Mystic Valley Kick. His legs stepped on the air repeatedly before he landed lightly on the trunk of a tree. Roar! Just as he jumped up, the shrubs in front of him rustled. A tiger beast that was even bigger than a 4-horse carriage jumped out from the carriage. Its whole body was covered in brown and yellow patterns, and its terrifying fangs were exposed in the air, emitting a chilling light that could take one's soul away. It's here. It's the 9 absolute mystic tiger. Lin was so frightened that he panicked, but he could still distinguish the species in front of him. This 9 extinction black tiger was different from other tiger species. It had 2 fangs that were more than 10 inches long. With a single fang, it could pierce through an adult. What was even more extraordinary was that the 9 extinction black tiger could grow 9 tails. With every increase in cultivation level, 1 more tail would appear. At different stages, the color of the tail would also be different. This was the 9 absolute mystic tiger with 9 white tails that occasionally had a hint of gold. It was equivalent to a human martial artist at the 9th tier of the body refining realm. The mouth of the tiger, which was like the mouth of a well, dripped with stinky saliva from time to time. The huge tiger paws paced back and forth between each step forward and backward. Evil beast, watch my spear. Tang Ao suddenly roared. With a thought, the 100 battle spear soul appeared in his hands. He held it with both hands and stabbed at the back of the 9 absolute mystic tiger. The 9 absolute mystic tiger seemed to have sensed something. Its huge body leaped slightly, easily dodging Tang Ao's sneak attack. It roared at Lin and Ada, young master. Please be careful. Ada, follow me. Tang Ao turned his head and instructed Lin to take care of himself. At the same time, he called Ada over to assist him. You and I will attack from the left and the back. Yes, young master. The light above his head twisted a few times, and 3 saber-type life spirits appeared. They jumped to the left of the 9 absolute mystic tiger and waited. Mutated beasts were different from humans. Although their cultivation levels were the same, the physical strength of beasts far exceeded that of martial artists of the same level. It was at least 5,000 to 4,000 pounds of strength. Moreover, beasts had thick skin and flesh. Their resistance was also 3 to 4 times that of martial artists of the same level. Therefore, Tang Ao did not dare to be careless. He put away his usual teasing attitude and focused on dealing with the 9 absolute mystic tiger in front of him. Roar! The 9 absolute mystic tiger seemed to be unable to control its temper and attacked Tang Ao first. In his eyes, one size determined one strength. Tang Ao was young, and his body looked a bit bigger than Ada Good. Tang Ao did not panic. He took a step forward and aimed his spear at the mystic tiger's chin. If he was really stabbed, his head would definitely be penetrated. However, the 9 absolute mystic tiger twisted its tail and attacked Tang Ao. The direction of its landing also changed. On the other side, Ada was just about to slash at the back. Who knew that the 9 absolute mystic tiger would suddenly turn its head, giving him a fright? As a result, the blade also missed its target. The 9 absolute mystic tiger actually raised its steel claw that was the size of an adult's head and took the slash. This time, both sides did not succeed in their attacks. They immediately adjusted their position and pulled a certain distance away from the 9 absolute mystic tiger. The 9 absolute mystic tiger shook its huge head and snorted. Its front claws kept rubbing on the ground, and its 9 tails swayed left and right. It seemed to be accumulating power and preparing for the next round of attacks. Hoo-hoo! The tiger's might was like the wind. The mystic tiger leaped into the air again and pounced towards Tang Ao. The huge steel claw reflected a frightening cold light. Tang Ao cursed his bad luck and thought about how to deal with it after killing it. The 100 battle spear soul in his hand trembled. Tang Ao also leaped into the air and clashed with the 9 absolute mystic tiger. Bang! The 100 battle spear soul smashed onto the tiger's head, but it was like hitting steel. The huge recoil caused Tang Ao's hands to go numb. He almost couldn't hold the spear. Damn, this thing's head is really hard. Tang Ao adjusted his state and stabbed at the mystic tiger again. At the same time, Ada approached the mystic tiger's body. The 3 saber-type life souls slashed at the mystic tiger's waist. However, the defense of the mystic tiger's skin was astonishing. Dozens of slashes only left a few faint white marks. Lin watched the thrilling battle between man and beast from the side. His palms were covered in sweat from nervousness. He didn't even blink afraid that he would miss a wonderful moment. This tiger beast defense is almost as strong as my iron steel sand. Tang Ao couldn't do anything to the mystic tiger. Similarly, the mystic tiger couldn't do anything to the two of them. However, the mystic tiger was unwilling to give up the prey in front of it. Both sides were evenly matched and in a stalemate. Young Master Tang, the mystic tiger's weakness is in its abdomen. Lin observed for a long time and hinted to Tang Ao and Ada, bringing a turning point to the stalemate. So that's how it is. Tang Ao raised his essence and rushed forward. Ada, let's attack this beast's abdomen with all our might. The two of them joined forces and attacked the mystic tiger's abdomen from different directions. At first, the mystic tiger was able to block them one by one. However, as the two of them attacked faster and faster, the mystic tiger seemed to be struggling. Its abdomen was hit by Tang Ao and Ada from time to time, causing blood to gush out. Roar! Chapter 104. Phew! Tang Ao sat on the ground and let out a long sigh. If we continue to fight, I will be exhausted to death by this beast. This battle didn't consume much spiritual chi, but it consumed a lot of physical strength. The hunting group had to stop for a rest. Among the 4 hunting groups, only Lin's group didn't have enough people. Naturally, the hunting speed would be much slower. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't plan to win with strength at the beginning. Young Master, we need to hunt a giant python that is as strong as this black tiger, and then we could go back to report. Anyway, it's getting late, and we don't have much time left. Tang Ao told Lin his idea at the moment. Yes, 2 strange beasts at the 9th level of the body, refining realm. Demon Dawn and Flesh are very valuable. Seeing that Tang Ao had his own idea, Lin didn't ask any more questions. Young Master do you know what kind of strange beasts there are? We are in the outer part of the center. If we go a little further, we will see the red moon blood python, the silver-horned black python, and the most famous one is the sky-piercing snake. It is said that this snake has a delicate body and extraordinary ability. It can travel through space. I don't know if it's true. Lin recalled what he had seen and heard and introduced them to Tang Ao one by one. Yes, let's go there and see. We don't have much time. Let's hunt whatever we find. Tang Ao patted his butt and showed his 100 battles spear soul, leading the way in front of the group. The lack of manpower became the biggest constraint of Lin's group. Therefore, the only thing Tang Ao could do was to hunt some precious strange beasts as much as possible. But the rare strange beasts were usually very strong. Some of them even had spiritual intelligence and were very cunning. As the sun gradually set, the view in the jungle became narrower and narrower. The reduced visibility brought some inconvenience to Tang Ao and the others. Although he looked calm, Tang Ao was very anxious in his heart. After killing the black tiger, they hadn't met any big strange beasts along the way. Hiss! Tang Ao suddenly became alert. The sound that came out of nowhere made their hearts beat faster. The air was filled with a fishy smell. Drip! A drop of unknown liquid dripped on Ada's face. It's raining? Ada was a little confused. He was about to raise his head, but Tang Ao and Lin grabbed his arms tightly. Tang Ao stood there stiffly, but his eyeballs kept rolling upward, indicating something. Ada slowly raised his head. What he saw made him regret raising his head. A red python as thick as a pillar was coiled around a thick branch, spitting out its black-red tongue. Its lantern-sized eyes revealed its desire for flesh and blood. Red moon blood python. Furthermore, it was a hungry red moon blood python. Tang Ao took advantage of the fact that the blood python's attention was focused on Ada to secretly circulate the mysterious valley kick and the great art of ancient god moving. His legs suddenly exerted force, and the tip of the spear arrived before the blood python in the blink of an eye. It was another intense battle. The blood python was huge, and its scales were tough as well. Ada and Tang Ao were beaten black and blue. Later, Tang Ao concentrated on attacking the blood python's eyes and finally killed it. After this battle, Tang Ao's clothes were torn to pieces. His chest, which was hit by the snake's tail, was aching. Otto was not as good as Tang Ao. After being hit by the snake's head, he vomited blood for a while and was now meditating. Looking at the gradually darkening jungle, Tang Ao thought for a while, "You guys take the blood python and black tiger back first. I'll search again to see if I can find anything else. No, it's too dangerous to leave you here alone. Although I don't have much ability, I will never abandon my teammates. After all, we are a team." Heelin immediately rejected Tang Ao's proposal. Tang Ao's heart warmed. "I really didn't misjudge you," but he still insisted on his opinion. "When I was still in the third celestial layer, I went through this kind of jungle alone, but didn't I come back alive? I'm fast enough. You guys go back and report the mission first. I'll catch up with you guys after searching for a while." Adin nodded in agreement. Young Master Tang is right. It's already the final moment. Young Master, don't be emotional. All right then. Heelin frowned and thought for a long time before agreeing to Tang Ao's decision. Young Master Tang, be careful. If there's nothing else, I'll go back. Young Master, don't worry too much. I'll take my leave first. Tang Ao bade farewell and disappeared into the boundless forest with a leap. After bidding farewell to the two, Tang Ao sped up. The hidden jade body and stone's characteristics concealed Tang Ao's aura. In addition, Tang Ao was very careful. He didn't startle the strange beasts when he passed through their territories. The trees were so fast that they almost formed a line. They were left far behind by Tang Ao. Not long later, Tang Ao arrived at the foot of Mount Heavenly Cloud. Mount Heavenly Cloud pierced through the clouds. From the bottom to the top, the vegetation became sparser. "I hope I can meet the sky cloud-piercing snake here," Tang Ao murmured to himself. His figure flashed and jumped to the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud. The sky cloud-piercing snake-like cold. It lived in the highest part of Mount Heavenly Cloud. Ordinary people couldn't see it. Tang Ao followed the description in the book and went straight to the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud to capture the snake. The higher he went, the lower the temperature and the thinner the air. Fortunately, Tang Ao had the hidden jade body in stone. Otherwise, he would have fainted halfway up the mountain due to lack of oxygen. After some time, Tang Ao got rid of the thick clouds and saw the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud. Phew, I'm finally here. On a relatively flat place at the top of the mountain, Tang Ao sat down and meditated to adjust his breath. He was ready to go down the mountain and run back to Waterbead City. Ouch, you're hurting me. Tang Ao was shocked. Who's talking? He looked around but didn't find anyone. I'm below you. Ouch, it hurts. Why are you so heavy? The voice came again, clear and sweet like a child's. Damn. Tang Ao found the source of the voice under his butt and jumped up in shock. Why are you under my butt? Huh, you can talk. A silver-white snake wriggled and floated in the air. This immortal has lived for so long, of course, I can talk. Heavens, a strange beast can only speak human language when it reaches the Spirit Sea realm. I actually met a strange beast of the Spirit Sea realm. It's over. Tang Ao was annoyed. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have gone to look for the sky-piercing snake. The silver-white snake seemed to see Tang Ao's fear and said with dissatisfaction, "Are you afraid? Is this immortal so scary? Humph. If you dare to run, believe it or not, this immortal will kill you immediately. Vicious, decisive, courageous, and not the slightest bit sloppy." Tang Ao slowly turned around, looking like he was going to fight for his life. "I'm telling you, don't mess around. At worst, I'll fight to the death with you." The sky-piercing snake danced and spun around Tang Ao. "Aya, this immortal is bored to death. Just play with this immortal for a while." Tang Ao immediately refused. "That won't do. I still have to look for the sky-piercing snake. My friend is still waiting for me to go back and save him." The silver-white snake spun around and laughed happily. "You don't need to look for me. I'm the sky-piercing snake. You play with me first. When you're done, I'll send you back. Open a hole and jump in. With a whoosh, you'll be there. It'll be very fast. Damn, You can wear out iron shoes in fruitless searching, but you'll find it by chance. All right, I'll play with you. Remember to go back with me. Tang Ao was shocked again. His luck was too good. He could sit on a sky-piercing snake, and it could even talk. Tang Ao helplessly played with the sky-piercing snake. This sky-piercing snake had the mind of a child and was very easy to coax. Not long after, it was in full swing with Tang Ao. Actually, the snake that Tang Ao met was a sky-piercing snake king. Because it went out to play, it accidentally ate an immortal herb. Its spiritual wisdom was greatly increased, but its personality was like a child's. It was very playful and mischievous. On the other hand, Helin and Ada flew towards Waterbead City. It was already dusk. If the last wisp of cloud in the sky disappeared, it would mean the end of the competition. Yuanza led his team back to the West Gate. Outside the West Gate, a huge crowd had already gathered. Some even sat there and waited for an entire afternoon. The old city lord, Feng Yuan, was carried out by the crowd to witness the birth of the new city lord with his citizens. The scouts saw 5 people coming from half a mile away. He shouted to the crowd, "Eldest young master Yuanza has arrived." The crowd cheered and shouted the name of the eldest young master. Feng Yuan, who still had 1 breath left, even coughed happily. "Ninth young master Yuanchao has arrived." The scout's voice rang through the crowd again. The crowd cheered again. 11th young master Yuani has arrived. Every time a young master returned, the crowd would cheer and give him the warmest welcome and celebration. At this time, the sun was still hanging above the mountain. It was still a hair away from nightfall. Where's 17th young master?" Someone in the crowd asked with concern. "TSK, 17th young master is a coward. Maybe he doesn't even dare to enter the periphery of the Cloud Mountains." Someone looked down on Helin and sneered. "That's right. Even with the help of someone like Tang Ao, he's still a pile of mud." 17th young master has arrived. Helin brought Ada to the West Gate. Different from the previous 3 young masters, there were only sparse cheers. Helin expressed his gratitude to those cheering people in a polite manner. 17th young master, where's young Master Tang? Did he abandon you because you're too lousy? That's right. I think that's the case. Helin was a little annoyed, but his expression didn't change. He replied in a clear voice, "Young Master Tang is a scarlet core. How could he abandon me? He just has something to do. He'll be back soon." Chapter 105. Hearing this, Helin was a little anxious. "Judge, please wait for a moment. I still have a teammate who has not returned. There is still 15 minutes before the sky turns dark. Please wait a little longer." At the judge's seat, a few old men whispered to each other. "All right, we will start counting the prey in 15 minutes. "Thank you, Judge." The other 3 young masters sneered as they looked at Helin, who was waiting at the West Gate. Some of the people they brought were also mocking and ridiculing them. "Young master, will young Master Tang?" Ada hinted from the side. He looked worried as he worried about Tang Ao's safety. "Don't talk nonsense." Helin's face turned fierce. "Young Master Tang is very skilled and lucky. He'll be fine. We have to believe in him." At this moment, there was still a ray of sunlight shining on the horizon. "Young Master 17, if he is still not here, we will start now. Don't waste everyone's time." The head judge stood up and reminded. Yuanchao sneered. "He probably thinks that you are too weak and have no backbone at all. He ran away long ago. Only you are still waiting here like a fool." The eldest young master, Yuanza, walked over and patted his shoulder. He sighed and said, "Don't wait anymore, old 17. Let's start." "No, wait a little longer. Young Master Tang is coming back soon." Helin shouted anxiously. A trace of obsession in his heart told him that Tang Ao would definitely come back. Everyone started to walk towards the Chinquin arena. The crowd was like a tide. Soon, the area outside the West City became empty again. Only Lin was still waiting in the West City. He seemed to be disappointed and resentful. "Ha ha ha, I am back." When the last ray of sunset light disappeared from the mountain, Tang Ao's figure slowly descended from the sky above Water Pearl City. "Young Master Tang, Lin was so excited that he almost cried. He wiped his eyes and ran towards the Chinquin arena. Ha ha ha. I ran into a small matter. Sorry to keep you waiting. Tang Ao still had a casual look on his face. He did not care about his tattered clothes and scabs. Good. Since everyone is here, let's start the calculation. Young masters, please hand in your spoils. Yuanza walked onto the Yinyang arena first and took out his spoils from his storage ring. One body refining realm 8th tier, Dan Hart, raging wave ape, 100,000 silver tails. Body refining realm 9th tier, mutated beast, winter purple electropython, price 300,000 tails. First level of the origin realm, 1-star jade flow monkey, 1 million silver coins. Young master Yuanze, the total amount of prey you've obtained this time is 1,400,000 taels. The head judge announced Yuanze's final result. Whoa, 1,400,000 taels is enough for 3 generations of my descendants to live a comfortable life. As expected of the eldest young master, there are so many capable people under him. It's not a problem for him to hunt some small prey. As Yuanze listened to the crowd's discussion, the corner of his mouth unconsciously curled up. Second young master. 9th young master, Yuanchao. Yuanchao handed over the storage ring to the referee and stood beside Yuanze with a dark expression. Body refinement realm 7th tier strange beast, heavenly fine-scale bear, price 70,000 taels. Body refinement realm 9th tier strange beast, celestial extreme green shadow centipede, price 300,000 taels. 9th origin realm 9th tier strange beast, Trison red brocade eagle, price 300,000 taels. Young master Yuanchao, the total is 670,000 taels. Hearing this number, Yuanchao's face was so dark that it was about to drip water. Originally, if the elder of the Heavenly Moon sect did not want to assassinate Tang Ao and ended up missing, then tonight's result would not be any worse than Yuanze's. Perhaps it would even be 1 to 200,000 taels higher. Thinking to there, Yuanchao specially glanced at Tang Ao and discovered that he was leisurely looking at him. He was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Third, 11th young master Yuanyi. 9th heaven thousand sand mountain panther, price 300,000 taels. Whoa, it's a 9th heaven beast from a start. Young master Yuanyi's team's strength is extraordinary. He's probably the only one who can compete with young master Yuanze. The judge continued to count. 9th heaven ice edge soul devouring mink, price 300,000 taels. First origin realm strange beast, heavenly cloud mystic tortoise, price 1 million taels. Young master Yuan E, total price 1,600,000 taels. The crowd burst into an uproar again. 1,600,000 taels. That's 200,000 taels higher than young master Yuanze. The position of city lord belongs to young master Yuan. Don't worry, there's still one more. Someone reminded. That good-for-nothing. I don't even need to look to know that he's going to be last. That's right. Look at his cowardly appearance. He's definitely going to be last. Don't even think about it. Silence. The head judge's dignified voice covered the entire arena. Let's welcome the 4th young master, young master Lin. It's my turn? Lin was just in a daze. He did not know what was going on when he was suddenly called. Why are you in a daze? Let's go, I'll go with you. Tang Ao patted his shoulder, and the two of them entered the universe ring together. After handing over the storage ring, Tang Ao leaned on his palm and hummed an unknown tune as he strolled around the universe ring, as if it was his own backyard. 9th Heaven 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger, price 300,000 taels. Whoa! Young Master Lin's first beast is actually a 9th Heaven mutated beast. Oof. He's just lucky to encounter a dying mutated beast. Someone disapproved and sneered, but they were ruthlessly slapped in the face by the judge's following bid. 9th Heaven Crimson Moon Blood Python, 300,000 taels. 2 9th Heaven mutated beasts. The same result as young Master E. I didn't expect him to be a dark horse. What's the hurry? Didn't you see that he only has 2 mutated beasts? He's still at the bottom. Young Master Lin's result is 60. Wait a minute. Tang Ao interrupted the judge's announcement and said to his sleeve, "Come out." A small silver snake drilled out from Tang Ao's sleeve and curiously circled around. Suddenly, it saw many people looking at him with dumbfounded expressions and actually shyly hid behind Tang Ao. It's a space-piercing snake. I didn't expect the legend to be true. Space-piercing snake. It's actually a space-piercing snake. Young Master Lin actually caught the space-piercing snake. Legend has it that the space-piercing snake likes to travel through space to search for treasures. It can bring wealth and good luck to people. With the space-piercing snake, young Master Lin will be the next city lord. Our good days are here. Young Master Lin, young Master Lin, young Master Lin. The crowd below the stage shouted excitedly. Some even raised their arms and cheered, expressing their willingness to support young Master Lin. Yuan's expression changed slightly. Then he smiled and nodded his head in praise. On the other hand, Yuan, who was originally going to win, was disrupted by Tang Ao's small snake. He angrily looked at the space-piercing snake that was playing with Tang Ao and wished that he could tear it apart alive. Old City Lord Feng Yuan was so excited that tears flowed down his face. I didn't expect that I would be able to see the space-piercing snake in my lifetime. I have no regrets in this life. This is the heaven cloud-piercing snake. The judge pointed at the small snake behind Tang Ao in surprise. Come, let us take a look. Tang Ao pulled the space-piercing snake out from behind him and touched its smooth back. Go. Let them take a look. So, everyone only saw a ripple in the air, and the space-piercing snake disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already at the judge's seat. The judge was so excited that his old hands were trembling. A few judges came in front of the space-piercing snake and wanted to take a closer look. They touched it and were so excited that they forgot their status for a moment. The space-piercing snake didn't seem to like being stared at by so many old men. It shuttled back and forth again before returning to Tang Ao's sleeve and sleeping soundly. May I know what is the cultivation of this little friend's space-piercing snake? Let this old man make a judgment of its value. The judge calmed himself down and asked. Tang Ao curled his lips. The judge should know how precious the space-piercing snake is. As for cultivation, do you think it's important? This is reasonable. This judge shall announce the result of 17th young Master Lin. 600,000 tails and a priceless space-piercing snake. Wow, the crowd was excited again. Firstly, they had seen a legendary beast, and secondly, they were about to witness the birth of a new castellan. The new castellan would bring new prosperity to the city. After a long time, the judge announced the result. After a careful discussion with a few judges, we have decided to appoint Lin as the next castellan of Water Pearl City. The castellan will control 9 trade routes. 11th young master Yuan will control 3 trade routes as a salary. Eldest young master Yuanza will control 2 trade routes as a salary, and 9th young master will control 1 trade route as a salary. Today, in order to celebrate the new castellan's ascension, the whole city will set off fireworks, hold a lantern show, and set up a banquet. The whole city will celebrate through the night. Below the Chincoan arena, there was a tsunami of applause. Everyone cheered and ran around to spread the news. At this time, Tang Ao let out a deep breath. Phew, it's finally done. When I go back, I will ask old Lin to compensate me. Brother Tang. Lin walked over and said, Lin, thanks, Brother Tang. I will never forget your help in this life. Lin almost cried as he said that. He was born of a concubine, and his mother's status was low. He did not plan to fight for the castellan's position, and just wanted to spend his life in peace. He did not expect to meet Tang Ao. Not only did he amaze the world at the Chincoan arena, he taught Yuan Jun a harsh lesson, and he also defeated everyone at the hunting meet to help him win the castellan's position. To meet such a person in one's life, one should be satisfied. Tang Ao coughed. This I am not completely selfless. You know, I am a disciple of the 7 Kills sect. I am here to help you expand the territory of the sect. This rule. Tang Ao did not say anything else. Otherwise, it would hurt the feelings of being in the same boat for the past few days. Lin was a smart person. He understood immediately. Of course, I will not forget this. Today, I only want to invite Brother Tang to drink to your heart's content. Of course. Drinking is my favorite. The whole city spent the night in revelry, and the lights were lit up the whole night. Early the next morning, Tang Ao packed his luggage and embarked on his return journey. Chapter 106. On the night before the return journey, the head judge asked Tang Ao to meet up with him. He took out a bunch of pills, cultivation techniques, and godly weapons to exchange for Tang Ao's space-piercing snake. How could Tang Ao be willing? Furthermore, this thing had its own intelligence. It only treated Tang Ao as a friend. It did not sign a soul contract with the head judge, so how could it exchange with the head judge? After 2 days of trekking, Tang Ao finally saw the 7 Kills Sex Mountain Gate. Phew, I'm finally back. I must make old Lin pay for this. I risked my life to take down the most complicated city. If he doesn't give me a few thousand contribution points, I will pull his beard one by one. Tang Ao thought bitterly. As soon as he entered the sect, Tang Ao went to Lin Jiang's Elder's Hall. I'm back. Old Lin, where's your reward? Lin Jiang was in the middle of a discussion with a few other elders. When he was suddenly called by Tang Ao, he jumped in fright. He glared at the mischievous Tang Ao and said, "Can't you be gentler? I almost lost half of my life because of you." Tang Ao shamelessly walked in front of Lin Jiang and said, "The mission is completed. Other than the secret manual that I didn't bring back, I successfully supported a young master to become the city lord. You just need to send a few people to collect it." Then, he waved his hand as if he was asking for a debt. The other elders looked at each other in confusion. What do you mean? Lin Jiang didn't understand. Tang Ao immediately became anxious. Don't act like a fool in front of me. Didn't we agree? I'll take down the Water Pearl City, so you will give me contribution points. The few elders laughed. Lin Jiang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fine. I'll give. Take this token and go to the exchange point to get 2,000 contribution points. That's more like it. Tang Ao snatched the token and walked toward the exchange point happily. Wait. Lin Jiang reached out and stopped Tang Ao. His expression turned serious. The Outer Sect Disciple Assessment is in a month. The Outer Sect disciples with outstanding results will be chosen to enter the Inner Sect. You have to prepare in advance. If you don't get first place, don't come back to see me. Inner Sect Disciple Assessment. Tang Ao heard Lin Jiang's words and thought for a while. What realm is Yin Shui at now? Since it was an Outer Sect Disciple Assessment, Tang Ao had to fully understand his opponent. Since it was an Outer Sect Disciple Assessment, Tang Ao had to understand his opponent well of the Lin Pearl. When she was at the 5th firmament, she was already a genius who had awakened 4 life souls. Tang Ao himself only had 2 life souls, one at the 5th firmament and one at the 9th firmament. Their quality was far inferior to Yin Shui's 3/8 firmament and 1/9 firmament life soul. You actually out of the 9th realm, Eye of Yun out of spirits. Tian, of Shun of Pearl, of Yun of realm. You actually reached to the 9th realm. Lin Jiang probed with his consciousness and jumped in shock. The other elders were also shocked at Tang Ao's flying speed of advancement. In the blink of an eye, he had risen by 2 realms. It's nothing. Tang Ao was embarrassed by these old men. Quick, tell me, what realm is Senior Yin Shui at now? Lin Jiang squinted his eyes in admiration. You are the same as her. You are both dragons and phoenixes. Your cultivation speed makes others blush with shame. Yin Shui is already of the 8th realm. She just went into seclusion a few days ago to prepare for the Outer Sect Disciple Assessment. 8th realm. Even though Tang Ao was a little prepared, he was still quite shocked. He had gone through life and death training to reach the 9th realm. He went to the Primordial Forest to be chased by Origin Realm beasts. He went to Water Pearl City to be chased by Origin Realm assassins. Yet, there was actually someone in the sect who could achieve the same results as him. There was no justice. There was no justice. Comparisons are odious. Tang Ao struggled for a long time, but in the end, he helplessly sighed. His hidden jade and stone body could only be seen in the later stages. It was just like its name. What he needed to do now was to accumulate. He needed to keep accumulating, accumulating, and accumulating again. Got it. I'll go exchange my contribution points first. After that, I'll go into seclusion. This senior is going to reach the heavenly muddy stage, so how can I lose to a little girl? Tang Ao left a few words and hurriedly left. This brat. Lin Jiang laughed and scolded. Everyone, who do you think will be first in this outer sect disciple assessment? The elders fell into silence. The two are evenly matched. It's not easy to compare. Yeah, the two of them are outstanding in the outer sect. Unless they really fight, it's not easy to compare. Lin Jiang stroked his beard. Interesting. This year's disciple assessment seems to be very lively. On the way, Tang Ao met many familiar people. For example, the beauty Zhao, who he bullied. Pervert. You. When Zhao Shui saw Tang Ao, she blurted out the word pervert. Thinking that it was wrong, she immediately changed her words. Senior brother Tang, you're back. Tang Ao glared at Zhao Shui. Seeing her change her words, he faintly smiled. You're looking for me? What? We haven't seen each other for a long time. Did you miss me? Zhao Shui's pretty face blushed. She scolded and hurriedly ran away. Tang Ao did not care about what she thought and went straight to the exchange point. He wanted to go to the martial skill pavilion to exchange some things to prepare for the examination in a month. Arriving at the martial skill pavilion, Tang Ao looked at the manager who was dozing off. He walked in and went up to the 4th floor. The last time he came, Tang Ao exchanged for a currently useless 7-kill slaughtering art. This was the 7-kill school's absolute art. Unfortunately, one needed to grasp 7 types of weapon life spirits to study it. Its power was astonishing. Therefore, this time, Tang Ao wanted to exchange for a spear spell so that he could train his 100 battle spear spirit to completion as soon as possible. By then, even if he ran into an origin martial realm warrior, he would still be able to fight back. Wandering Shadow Gold Sword, high-rank origin martial realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, the sword would be like a moving shadow, hard to catch. 500 contribution points. Burning Sky, Star Picking Hand. High-rank origin martial realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, one could cover the sky with one hand and burn the stars in the sky. Blue Dragon Shadow Spear, low-rank Sea of Souls realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, the body of the spear would turn into a blue dragon. Wherever it goes, it would be invincible. Blue Dragon Shadow Spear, 700 contribution points. Not bad, right? Tang Ao had his eyes on this spear spell. He did not care how much it would cost, so he exchanged for it right away. Tang Ao suddenly remembered that there was still a space-piercing snake sleeping in his sleeve. I need to exchange for some food to feed this little guy. It is almost unlimited space traveling power, so it would be a great assistant for escaping or chasing. After exchanging, Tang Ao went back to his room and closed his eyes to train. Chapter 107. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed in the mountain. Tang Ao opened his eyes. Beat! 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes, leaving 2 unfathomably deep holes on the wall. Good. Very good. Tang Ao checked his changes in the past month and was overjoyed. In the past month, Tang Ao had spent a lot of time practicing iron steel sand to the 12th level. His body was like copper and iron. Coupled with his hidden jade and stone physique, he could take a full blow from an origin martial realm martial artist without being heavily injured. Ice Crystal Sword was given to the Green Lotus Sword Soul. However, Tang Ao's Green Lotus Sword Soul did not go through any training, so there was not much progress. He only mastered the sword moves of Ice Crystal Sword. As for the Green Lotus Sword Soul's indestructible sword body, Tang Ao did not spend too much time. Different from the Green Lotus Sword Soul, Tang Ao's 100 Battle Spear Soul had already comprehended the Slaughter Spear. This time, He had comprehended Azure Dragon Nether Shadow Spear, which made his understanding of the spear's soul soar to the sky. He was even about to form his own spear force. Once the spear force was formed, it would not be far from forming his own spear domain. Within the domain, there would be a world of its own. Therefore, the higher the realm, it was no longer about the strength of the martial skill, but the strength of the life spirit domain. Half spear force. It was not in vain for me to train the 100 battle spear soul. Tang Ao was very satisfied with the transformation of the 100 battle spear soul. Tomorrow is the outer sect assessment. I should take a good rest and win the championship. Ha ha ha. Dong, dong, dong. Early in the morning, the distant bell woke up the disciples from their sleep. Tang Ao tidied up his clothes and walked towards the martial lecture square. The martial lecture square was the place where the elders read the documents and explained the important points. It was spacious and gorgeous. Senior Brother Tang. Good morning, Senior Brother. Good morning, Brother Shu. Along the way, many outer sect disciples greeted Tang Ao. This was the rule of the entire continent. The strong were respected, not to mention a sect in the East region. Tang Ao was not as unreasonable as those arrogant disciples. He put his arm around the shoulders of a group of disciples, talking and laughing as they walked towards the martial lecture square. Arriving at the square, Zhang Xian noticed that the grand elders had been waiting for a long time. They were resting with their eyes closed, absorbing the spiritual energy of the world. Everyone, a white-robed, white-bearded old man, floated in midair. His deep and powerful voice penetrated the entire area. The disciples instantly quieted down and listened attentively. The outer court exam is divided into two segments. One is the illusory heavenly stairway, and the other is the competition between disciples. No matter what method you use on my disciple, you must remember not to kill him. Once discovered, the Elder Guild will definitely punish you severely. The last few words were breathtaking, causing people to shiver from the bottom of their souls. That elder's strength is probably even higher than Old Lin's. Could he be the great elder of the outer sect? Tang Ao's heart was deeply shaken by this voice, and he secretly guessed the identity and strength of this elder. This disciple will remember. After explaining the rules, the elder in midair waved his sleeves. 7 doors and a jade tablet appeared in front of the disciples out of nowhere. The spiritual energy on the door curtain fluctuated, leading to an unknown place. The jade tablet emitted a peaceful aura, which made people feel relaxed and happy. This is the entrance to the illusory heavenly stairway. After you enter, no matter the number of people, name, or level, it will all be displayed and automatically recorded in your exam results. Let's begin. Under the elder's command, the disciples entered in a single file and swarmed towards the gate, afraid that they would not be able to make it in time. Tang Ao leisurely whistled. It's not like we're competing to see who's first. Why are you in such a hurry to enter? Those who can't stay will leave sooner or later. Those who can stay will still get excellent results, no matter how late they enter. How shallow. Brother Shu, why haven't you entered yet? A disciple who knew Tang Ao asked curiously. I'm not in a hurry. If you want to go, then hurry. You won't even be able to touch the door if you're late. Tang Ao glanced at him carelessly. Then I'll go first. Brother Shu, remember to check my results. Although he said this, he had already run far away. Everyone was rushing towards the entrance, but there were a few people like Tang Ao who were still standing in the same place, watching coldly from the sidelines. Among them was Tang Ao's biggest rival, Yin Shui. Tang Ao secretly observed Yin Shui's cultivation and found that his aura was restrained. His every movement was very natural, making people feel very comfortable. At the same time, Yin Shui was also secretly observing Tang Ao's cultivation. His expression gradually became serious. Yin Shui is worthy of being the outer sect's #1. His cultivation has improved a lot in a month. Looks like it won't be easy to become the outer sect's #1. Tang Ao sighed and shifted his gaze to the jade tablet. Small squares lit up at the bottom of the jade tablet. In the middle of each square was the name of each disciple. As a large number of disciples poured in, the bottom of the jade tablet grew brighter and brighter, like the stars in the night sky. Aya! A disciple screamed and was spat out by the door. He was sweating profusely, and his face was pale. He must have suffered a lot of resistance. Luohu. Level 3. Someone reported his results, but it was mocked by the crowd. Ashamed, he used his sleeves to cover his face and jogged out of the lecture plaza. Aya! Ah! Another 2 screams rang out. The illusory sky stairwell spat out 2 more people. They were not strong enough and were sent out. One of them was even an expert at the 8th tier of the body, refining realm. So that's how it is. This illusory sky stairwell is not a test of cultivation, but of temperament. No matter how high a person's cultivation is, if they don't have a heart as strong as steel, their growth will be limited. They won't last long. Tang Ao observed for a while and gradually came to a conclusion. This was too simple. Tang Ao curled his lips in disdain. He did not care about such a small test. He was a little devil lord after all. At that time, be it cultivation or temperament, he was a genius. In this life, although his cultivation had started over, his temperament had not changed. Sometimes he was like a child. In his previous life, when he was a devil lord, Tang Ao had tasted all sorts of hardships. Wasn't passing through this illusion as easy as looking at the scenery? Yin Shui seemed to notice this as well. She walked gracefully into the illusory sky stairwell. Hey, look, senior sister Yin Shui went in. Someone pointed at Yin Shui's small square on the jade tablet. Sai, Guyu went in too. The top 10 outer disciples all went in. Why don't I see Tang Ao? The disciples who had been kicked out to watch the show started to look for Tang Ao's name on the jade tablet. Stop looking, I'm here, Tang Ao reminded, speechless. Why didn't senior brother Tang go in? Senior sister Yun Shui has already reached the 4th level, a disciple said. Nothing, I'll keep looking. Tang Ao rested his head on his arms and looked casually at the bright square on the jade tablet. Chapter 108. Wow, senior brother Guyu has already reached the 6th floor. A disciple pointed at Guyu's little light bar in surprise with a face full of envy. After all, he himself had not even passed the 4th floor. What is this? Look at Yun Shui. She has already reached the 9th floor. She has already left a lot of people behind. A disciple did not seem to care about Guyu's results and looked at Yun Shui's little light bar with eyes full of love. As expected, my Yun Shui is the most powerful. Black lines appeared on Tang Ao's face, and the corner of his eyes twitched. He was full of expectations for Yin Shui. Let me see how far you can run. The gate spat out the eliminated disciples one by one as if they were throwing buns. They bared their teeth and cried out as they lay on the ground. Soon, the entire training square was filled with disciples. The jade monument suddenly dimmed a lot, leaving only a few scattered lights flickering in the middle of the monument. Amazing. My sister, senior sister Yin Shui, has already reached the 18th floor. She is now the outer sect number 1. Senior sister Jiang Qingyi is also not bad. She has already passed the 11th floor. Quickly look. Senior brother Guyu has reached the 14th floor. So powerful. A little fangirl pointed at Guyu's little light bar like a starry-eyed idiot, making a big fuss as if she wanted the whole world to know. Senior brother Tang, why are you still not going in? Senior sister Yin Shui and the rest will be finished in a while. A disciple reminded Tang Ao. No rush, no rush. I still say that if you have the ability, your results will not be bad no matter how late you enter. If you don't have the ability, it will be useless no matter how early you enter. Tang Ao was still leisurely, ignoring the disciple's advice. I think you're just bragging. A cold voice came out of nowhere, mocking and ridiculing, causing Tang Ao's body to tremble. A pretty but slightly pale girl walked towards the jade monument with the help of 2 female disciples. When she saw Tang Ao, she rolled her eyes, charming a lot of men. Who else could it be other than Zhao Shui? You keep bragging. Let me see where you can go in a while. Zhao Shui put her hands on her waist. Her expression was cold, but her tone had a trace of schadenfreude. Do you believe that I cannot pass? Brag. Keep bragging. How about this if I, the Supreme Overlord, clear the stage, you wash my clothes for a month? Tang Ao looked at Zhao Shui playfully and came up with such a rotten idea. What if you don't pass? Zhao Shui looked at Tang Ao coldly. It is impossible for me to not pass the stage. Tang Ao was full of arrogance, directly ignoring Zhao Shui's words. Just wait and see. If you can't clear the stage, then you'll be my slave. Humph. With that, he stomped his foot and turned around, ignoring Tang Ao. Being a slave for Goddess Zhao is pretty blissful. Wang Lin came up with a wretched expression. Look at you. Is your face itchy? Are you thinking about my shoe? Tang Ao's tone suddenly became cold. He expressionlessly looked at Wang Lin's face that deserved a beating. Shoe bro, look at the jade tablet. Look at the jade tablet. Thinking about Tang Ao's shoe, Wang Lin suddenly became terrified. Wow, senior sister Yun Shui reached the 23rd floor. A disciple pointed at Yun Shui's little square. His face was filled with disbelief. Tang Ao looked over and said, Everyone's speed has slowed down in these few floors. It is not as easy as the first few floors. I think it is because the difficulty has increased. Most of the people here had only reached the 7th or 8th floor. Those who were a bit stronger had reached the 5th or 6th floor. After that, they couldn't go any further and were eliminated by the illusion stairs. People like Yin Shui and Guyu were very tough, so they easily passed the first 20 floors. Based on this trend, they would continue to break through. After every 9 floors, the difficulty of the illusion stairs doubled. There were a total of 81 floors, and the last 9 floors were 18 times more difficult than the first 9 floors. Because of this, after reaching the 18th floor, Yin Shui's group's speed slowed down. They are moving forward again. The 28th floor. A disciple screamed. Yin Shui had been on the 27th floor for a long time. After walking so many paths, she knew the difficulty of the previous floors. After resting for a while, Yin Shui entered the 28th floor. The disciples watching outside the stairs were sweating for them. Some were even more nervous than the people trying to clear the floors. It was as if they were the ones doing it. Senior sister Jiang Qingyi's grid disappeared. Everyone hurriedly looked over. Jiang Qingyi's grid dimmed at the 21st floor. Then, a beautiful figure flew out from the door. Jiang Qingyi spat out a mouthful of black blood. She immediately sat cross-legged and started to adjust her breathing. Tang Ao chuckled and walked over. Isn't this our senior sister Jiang? How is it? Is it fun inside? Tang Ao purposely emphasized the big word. Jiang Qingyi glared at Tang Ao. Can't you go in yourself? Then, she asked hesitantly. You haven't gone in yet. I'll go in a while. I saw that you were injured, so I came to take a look. Tang Ao took out a small bottle and took out a pill for Jiang Qingyi. This is the 7 Treasures blood circulation pill. It's good for your injuries. Jiang Qingyi hesitated. She didn't even know this person in front of her. Why are you suddenly so good? In tomorrow's disciple duel, I want to defeat you fair and square. So, hurry up and recuperate. Tang Ao waved his hand. He bid farewell to Jiang Qingyi and walked towards the entrance. Look, Brother Shu went in. Brother Shu, go for it. Brother Shu is mighty. As soon as Tang Ao stepped through the door, Tang Ao's little grid immediately appeared at the bottom of the jade tablet. Everyone looked at Tang Ao's grid with anticipation, hoping that he would surprise them. At first, Tang Ao's grid hovered at the bottom for a long time. Everyone couldn't help but feel discouraged. What the hell? He said he could pass. This result is worse than me. A disciple snorted disdainfully. That's right. He's bragging to the heavens. Zhao Shui looked at Tang Ao's grid with disdain. Pervert, just wait to be this lady's slave. However, The next scene caused the surrounding disciples to be so shocked that they could not close their jaws. Tang Ao flew from the first floor to the 20th floor in the blink of an eye. Then, he began to stagnate at the 20th floor. This Tang Ao, what the hell is he doing? Zhao Xuan muttered. She suddenly looked up and saw that Yin Shui's grid had stopped at the 36th floor for a long time. Gu Yu's grid also stopped at the 30th floor. Why did senior sister Yin Shui and senior brother Gu Yu stop for so long? Did they run out of energy? Whoosh! Gu Yu's grid flickered at the 31st floor before dimming. Then, the door spat Gu Yu out. Senior brother Gu Yu stopped at the 30th floor? Amazing! Chapter 109. Look, senior apprentice sister Yin Shui's light is moving. On the Jade Monument, between the 36th and 37th level, a small light was slowly ascending. The speed was very slow, as if every step was very difficult. Come on, come on. Some disciples cheered for Yin Shui. Gu Yu and Jiang Qingyi rested for a while and squeezed in front of the Jade Monument, looking at the only two people on the monument. This Tang Ao really knows how to talk big. He said he would pass, but he actually stayed at level 20 for so long. Jiang Qingyi looked coldly at Tang Ao's light and mocked. Gu Yu was silent, looking at Tang Ao's light with a serious expression. Dong! With a muffled sound, Yin Shui was bounced out. The light flickered twice on the 38th level before extinguishing. Everyone hurried to help her up. How is it? Who else is on the monument? Yin Shui's face was pale as she asked weakly. Senior apprentice sister, there's still Tang Ao up there, but he stopped at level 20 for a long time. A disciple replied. Two disciples carried Yin Shui to the Jade Monument and looked at the smooth surface of the monument, at the light with the two words Tang Ao. Once again, Tang Ao made his move. With the same lightning speed, he rushed from the 20th stage to the 30th stage. This speed was unparalleled. How is this possible? All the disciples were shocked again, especially Yin Shui, Jiang Qingyi, and Gu Yu. They knew the difficulty after level 20, but now, Tang Ao easily passed it as if he was running. On the stage of the martial arts lecture plaza, several elders were also shocked by Tang Ao's performance. Is this still our disciple? Even I don't have the ability to pass 10 levels in a blink of an eye. An elder sighed. Lin Zhang's mouth twitched. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Is this still the weak Tang Ao from Bluestone City? On the other hand, the first elder was calm and composed. This child's temperament is extraordinary. He must have suffered many setbacks and tribulations. It is natural for him to have this achievement. After that, the light on the jade tablet seemed to be taking a stroll, walking and stopping, running and stopping. A moment later, Tang Ao's screen lit up on the highest floor. The 81st floor was still shining brightly. Xiao, when Tang Ao was teleported out, he had a smug look on his face. Look, I said that I will pass the stage, and I will pass it. Little Zhao, prepare to wash clothes for me. Everyone turned their heads and looked at Tang Ao as if they were looking at a monster. There was nothing but shock on their faces. The huge square was completely silent. The elders were so shocked by Tang Ao that they couldn't close their jaws. Lin Jiang looked at the Jade Monument again and again. However, on the 81st floor, a bright square told him that this was the truth. The head elder smiled and nodded, expressing his approval of Tang Ao. He then raised his Zhunqi and his voice covered the whole place, pulling the disciples back from the shock. The illusory stairway test is over. Disciples, rest well and prepare for tomorrow's battle. All hail Brother Shu! All hail Brother Shu! All hail Brother Shu! More than 10 of Tang Ao's former underlings were in high spirits. They shouted Tang Ao's nickname and surrounded Tang Ao as they left the martial arts plaza. Tang Ao had a helpless expression. He couldn't do anything about the head elder's strength. Before he left, he didn't forget to shout, Little Zhao, don't forget to wash clothes for me for a month. Zhao Shui was stunned and stomped her feet in anger. She turned around and left the plaza. Yin Shui, Jiang Qingyi, and Gu Yu looked at each other, and left to prepare for tomorrow's competition. This illusory stairway test not only made Tang Ao famous in the outer sanctum, but also in the inner sanctum. How many people could pass the illusory stairway test in one go since the establishment of the 7 Kill faction? On the second day, the outer sanctum disciples gathered at the martial arts plaza again. They were all eager to try, hoping to get a good result in the duel. The head elder floated in the air with his robe fluttering in the wind. He had an imposing aura. Everyone, today's duel will be held on 10 stages. Other than the top 10 of the outer yard, the other disciples will compete based on points. Of course, if you're not satisfied with the top 10, you can challenge them. Let the duel begin. As soon as the great elder gave the order, a disciple immediately found an opponent. The two of them jumped onto the arena and began sparring with each other. Many disciples stopped to watch. Some wanted to get a feel for each other's strength, while others wanted to learn some fighting techniques. Yin Shui, Tang Ao, Gu Yu, Jiang Qingyi, and the rest stood on the high stage and watched the duel with boredom. They couldn't help it. Who asked them to be so strong? Not to mention the top 10, the top 5 of the outer gate would definitely not be challenged by the other disciples. As for the inner gate, it was a different story. Jiang Qingyi requests to fight Tang Ao. Jiang Qingyi snatched a stage and shouted to the high stage. Instantly, the surrounding disciples were attracted by the shout and came over. Senior sister Jiang requests to fight Tang Ao. Didn't senior sister Jiang lose last time? Why does she still want to fight? What do you know? Last time, Tang Ao cheated. This time, senior sister Jiang is fully prepared. She wants to fight fair and square with Tang Ao. Tang Ao, do you dare to accept the challenge? Jiang Qingyi was dressed in tight clothes. With her beautiful face, she looked indescribably heroic. Tang Ao exerted strength in his legs and leaped lightly. He slowly landed on the stage and flipped his hair. Since Miss Jiang has invited me, I have no reason to refuse. Immediately, another 8 figures jumped near the stage to watch. They were Yun Shui and the other top 10 outer disciples. Buzz! With a thought, 2 life spirits appeared above Jiang Qingyi's head. They were the 9-yang glass sword and the 7-leaf lotus platform at the 8th heaven. The sword light was sharp, and the lotus platform was holy and auspicious. Jiang Qingyi looked like a fairy from the 9th heaven. Wow, goddess! Many male disciples lost their composure. Their eyes were filled with love. I haven't seen you for a month, and you've actually advanced to the 8th level. Good. Then let me see how much you've improved these days. Hua! With a loud sound, a rusty spear appeared in front of Tang Ao. The thick smell of blood assaulted his nostrils. Heavens! Is that really the aura of a 5th-level heaven life spirit? All the disciples were shocked by the spear's power. For a moment, a shiver ran through their hearts. Please. Tang Ao grasped the long spear and skillfully brandished it 8 times. Heavens! He can actually shake it 8 times. What realm is that? Is it the spear realm? Zhao Shui covered her mouth in shock. No, he hasn't reached the spear realm, but he'll be there soon. Yin Shui's face was solemn as he stared at the stage. Different divine armament life spirits had different standards. The spear shaking 9 flowers was the spear realm, and so was the sword. Chapter 110. Clang, clang. 100 battle spear soul against 9 sunglass sword. The two collided and burst into sparks, and the sound of metal clashing resounded. There was no spiritual chi fluctuation on the body of the spear and the sword. It was just a simple contest of strength. Although Jiang Qingyi's realm was lower than Tang Ao's by 200 pounds, her tenacity made her grit her teeth and continue to fight with Tang Ao. Every time the weapons collided, Jiang Qingyi's divine sense felt like it was being bombarded by a sledgehammer. Unlike Tang Ao, Jiang Qingyi's 9-sun-colored glass sword spirit couldn't turn illusory into real and use it to fight with others. She could only control it with her divine sense. When the two fought, the difference in strength would first hit the divine sense and then the physical body. This silly girl is really stubborn. Tang Ao couldn't stand it anymore and deliberately mocked. I thought you had made some progress in the past month. You dare to challenge me with this level? Who gave you the courage? Jiang Qingyi was slightly angry and shouted, "Watch my sword." The seven-leaf lotus platform above her head suddenly shone brightly. The petals and leaves intertwined and danced, and 7 illusory green lotus swords were born in the lotus platform. 7 leaves and 7 swords. I didn't expect senior sister Jiang to be able to transform the 7-leaf lotus platform to this level. Senior brother Tang is also very powerful. He hasn't even summoned his second life soul, but he can still be on par with senior sister Jiang Qingyi. That's more like it. You don't have to say that I bullied you when you lose. Seeing Jiang Qingyi summon 2 life souls, Tang Ao put away his teasing attitude and focused on the 100 battle spear soul. The blue dragon nether shadow spear was running. Roar. Suddenly, the 100 battle spear soul condensed an illusory blue dragon, flying up and down around Tang Ao. The dragon roared, and its momentum rose to another level. It was only a little shorter than Jiang Qingyi, who already had 2 life souls. Senior brother Tang actually knows the blue dragon nether shadow spear soul. A disciple recognized Tang Ao's move. What kind of cultivation method is that? Is it powerful? That is the spear art of the Sea of Spirit Realm. It is said that when you practice it, you can condense the blue dragon real body and destroy the world. Senior sister Jiang won't be easy to deal with this time, the disciple below the stage said. Jiang Qingyi was not moved at all. She held the glazed sword and stepped on the 7-leaf lotus throne. The green lotus sword transformed from the lotus throne combined into one, and the sword light burst out, slashing towards the 100 battle spear soul. Are you crazy? Senior sister Jiang actually dared to take senior brother Tang's spear technique head-on. The other disciples were also nervous, and some even didn't dare to look at the stage. Yun Shui and Gu Yu furrowed their brows as they watched the battle between the two with uncertain expressions. Bang! The sword and spear were wrapped in their own true essence as they collided with each other, causing an earth-shattering sound to erupt. The shock waves from the explosion blew the disciples below the arena like cotton in the wind, causing them to sway left and right, and the dust that was stirred up made it difficult for them to open their eyes. Ah, good. Lend me another move, Hidden Dragon. Tang Ao became more and more excited as the battle went on. He couldn't help but throw his head back and laugh wildly. The 100 battles spear soul shook, and the azure dragon coiled around the tip of the spear. It spun like a drill and smashed towards Jiang Qingyi below. Dang! Like the evening drum and morning bell, the 7-leaf lotus throne flew above Jiang Qingyi's head, forcibly taking on Tang Ao's move. At the same time, the 7 green lotus swords flew up around the 100 battle spear soul and shot out like lightning, stabbing towards Tang Ao. Oh no! Tang Ao was shocked. He didn't expect that her 7-leaf lotus throne had already grown to this level. With a thought, a layer of tiny black particles quickly wrapped around his arms. Tang Ao raised his arms, clasped his hands into fists, and suddenly smashed down. Bang! With another loud bang, the 7-leaf green lotus swords were shattered and repulsed, and Tang Ao was also sent flying by the recoil. Many of the surrounding disciples looked incredulous. Oh my God! Tang Ao's fleshly body was too abnormal. He took on senior sister Jiang's sword move with his bare hands, and he didn't even get hurt. Yin Shui was also moved. She opened her red lips and said, "It's the iron steel sand. He has actually cultivated it to this level. So it's the iron steel sand. No wonder he can withstand it. It is said that when cultivated to the extreme, the body is like an iron wall. Even if you burn it with true fire, it will be difficult to melt it." Jiang Qingyi smiled proudly. "How does this feel? Take another move from me. Watch my sword." Tang Ao was also a little surprised. Jiang Qingyi's growth was far beyond his imagination, especially her control of the 7-leaf lotus throne. Compared with Jiang Qingyi a month ago, it was like heaven and earth. "You were a little stronger than I thought, but only a little." Tang Ao withdrew his long spear. With a thought, A green lotus appeared above Tang Ao's head. When the leaves rotated, 3 small green swords were growing in the flower core, slightly trembling. You're not the only one with a lotus. Undying sword body, 9th heaven green lotus sword spirit. A disciple screamed. Jiang Qingyi's 8th heaven 7-leaf lotus throne was amazing enough, but Tang Ao also had a lotus. Moreover, it was 1 heaven higher than Jiang Qingyi's lotus throne. Ding ding dang dang. The two once again engaged in a chaotic battle. The swords constantly collided, and the holiness of the lotus sword made the clashing sound as clear as flowing water. The 100 battle spear souls' killing intent became stronger, and the bloody smell became thicker. When it clashed with the 9 sunglass sword, the thick bloody light gradually suppressed the rising 9 sun sword chi. A 5th heaven spear soul can actually suppress an 8th heaven 9 sun glass sword spirit. Unheard of. Yeah, I haven't seen such an exciting battle for a long time. One eye-opener. On the viewing platform, a few elders were also attracted by the battle between Tang Ao and Jiang Qingyi. The exciting battle between the two juniors was also a feast for their eyes. Before Tang Ao summoned his green lotus sword spirit, Jiang Qingyi could barely suppress Tang Ao. With the 7-leaf lotus throne as a surprise attack, she could still suppress Tang Ao, leaving him no chance to fight back. But now, with the addition of Tang Ao's green lotus sword spirit, the entire battle was once again in Tang Ao's favor. With the green lotus sword spirit controlling the 7-leaf lotus throne, Tang Ao's 100 battle spear soul was like a fish in the water. It easily blocked all of Jiang Qingyi's attacks, and from time to time, it aimed at the flaws of Jiang Qingyi's attacks to counterattack. After a dozen more attacks, Tang Ao saw the opportunity when Jiang Qingyi attacked. The 100 battle spear soul seemed to have a mind of its own. It flicked away the crystal sword, exerted strength in its legs, and kicked Jiang Qingyi's abdomen with its knee. Jiang Qingyi didn't have time to call back the lotus throne to defend, so she could only use her hands to protect herself. She pushed away Tang Ao's knee with her palms. Even though Tang Ao only used 10,000 pounds of power, and Jiang Qingyi had blocked most of it, she was still sent flying. Jiang Qingyi knelt on one knee and looked at Tang Ao fiercely like a wolf. If you haven't awakened your 3rd life spirit, then admit defeat. Chapter 111. Okay. As soon as Jiang Qingyi's voice fell, buzz, 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 the spiritual chi in the arena became chaotic. Everyone was shocked to find that the center of the chaos was Jiang Qingyi's 3rd life spirit. A 7-colored Rui scepter quietly floated above Jiang Qingyi's head. It shone brightly, and auspicious chi turned into dragons and snakes. It was obviously of an extraordinary grade. The surrounding spiritual chi formed a fierce whirlwind with the Rui scepter as the center, making it hard for people to open their eyes. Jiang Qingyi smiled. Martial Dragon Scepter. Please enlighten me, senior brother. Tang Ao was shocked. The quality of the Rui scepter was at least level 10 or even level 11. 3 life spirits, 1 sword, 1 platform, and the Rui scepter formed a triangular shape, quietly floating around Jiang Qingyi. When Jiang Qingyi revealed her full strength, it actually ignited Tang Ao's fighting spirit. With a loud roar, his aura became as fierce as a spear piercing through the sky. Then, he brandished his sword and spear and rushed towards Jiang Qingyi. Clang! The tip of the spear was still 3 meters away from Jiang Qingyi, but it couldn't go any further. It was as if there was a transparent wall in front of the 100 battle spear soul. The Rui scepter on top of Jiang Qingyi's head exuded an indistinct radiance. Tang Ao activated the ancient god moving heavens technique and squinted his eyes to see clearly that the Rui scepter had formed a transparent light curtain that wrapped around Jiang Qingyi. That Rui scepter can protect its owner, and it seems to be of an extraordinary grade. Senior sister Jiang Qingyi has shown 3 life spirits. I wonder if senior brother Tang can withstand it. The Rui scepter life spirit was a special kind of weapon life spirit. It was roughly divided into two types. One was an offensive weapon, and the other was the Rui scepter on top of Jiang Qingyi's head. It mainly defended and protected its owner, forming a Rui scepter shield to block all attacks within its range. It was said that when the Rui scepter was practiced to the extreme, it would be invincible. No matter how you hit it, it wouldn't move. When Tang Ao saw it clearly, he felt a headache. With this extra layer of turtle shell, it's going to be a little tricky. After thinking for a while, Tang Ao called back his green lotus sword spirit, which floated above his head. 3 green lotus swords containing the undying sword body floated 3 feet around Tang Ao. Between the swords, the blue ice pillars connected with each other, forming something like a Rui cover. Jiang Qingyi sneered. How can your fake be compared to my real one? Watch my sword. Jiang Qingyi stood on the 7-leaf lotus platform with the 9-yang glass sword in her hand and the immortal gathering scepter above her head. His clothes fluttered in the wind like a true immortal descending from the 9 heavens. Every move was so pure and holy, and they were not affected by the mortal world as they attacked Tang Ao. Is that a fairy? Many of the disciples below the stage were not calm, and they were mesmerized. Tang Ao was not fooled by Jiang Qingyi's appearance. He snorted and held the spear with both hands, waving it. The dragon roar on the spearhead became more sonorous. Under the gathering of Jinshi, a huge dragon claw appeared on the spearhead, covering the entire stage. With a destructive force, it smashed towards Jiang Qingyi's Rui cover. The disciples below the stage were excited again. What is that? Dragon claw? That's a move of the Azure Dragon Nether Shadow Spear, called Exploding Dragon Claw. It's extremely powerful. Jiang Qingyi's mind was calm as she activated the Rui scepter above her head. The auspicious Qi was 3 times more prosperous than before, and the Rui cover outside her body gradually became clear. On the cover, 7 colored lights flowed, and Dragon's sword crouched and soared. Boom! The two's moves were evenly matched, and after the clash, they actually stuck together. The Dragon Claw could not advance even an inch, and the Rui cover could not break through. Tang Ao and Jiang Qingyi's eyes met, and they actually forgot to tease each other. Instead, they focused even more, scanning each other's body, looking for openings or flaws in their moves. Swoosh! The two of them separated, and once again turned around to fight. Tang Ao raised his spear, and with a roar he slashed towards Jiang Qingyi in the air. The sound of air breaking and the dragon roar intertwined. Zhen Yuan moved, and Spirit Qi moved, intertwining. At that moment, the stage was controlled by 2 huge masses of Qi. One side was holy, and the other was bloody. One side was peaceful, and the other side was violent. The surrounding disciples were completely stunned. This battle, whether it was the life spirits of both sides, the cool martial skills, or the beautiful effects of the skills, all made the disciples exclaim in satisfaction. In fact, Tang Ao was actually very frustrated. No matter how he attacked with his spear, he could not break through Jiang Qingyi's Rui cover, and Jiang Qingyi was the same. No matter how hard she attacked, she could not break through Tang Ao's Green Lotus Sword Soul's Ice Defense Array. Senior Sister Yun, these two can't even break through the opponent's defense. Is there any meaning to this battle? Guyu could not help but ask. Who knew that Yin Shui would be so focused on the battle and did not pay attention to him, making him ask for trouble? This can't go on. Jiang Qingyi's defense is simply impenetrable. Unless my strength can increase by a few thousand kilograms, I will be able to break her Rui cover. Looks like I can only use the ancient god moves the heavens. Otherwise, wasting time here is not a solution. While Tang Ao was fighting with Jiang Qingyi, he had already thought of a countermeasure. When the spear stabbed the Rui cover, Tang Ao took the opportunity to jump away, putting some distance between him and Jiang Qingyi. When using the ancient god moves the heavens, his strength and aura would slowly increase. And he also needed to use the invisible jade and stone body to hide his strength. Otherwise, if he exposed himself, Jiang Qingyi would definitely be on guard. At that moment, Tang Ao pretended to adjust his breathing and secretly used the ancient god moves the heavens. Under his dantian, the hazy ball of light emitted a faint light, resonating with the big meridian on his back. The two were connected by a faintly discernible jade-colored spirit chi chain. Strange, why is Senior Brother Tang's aura so weak? Look, the azure dragon on the 100 battle spear soul is also quiet. What's going on? Is Senior Brother Tang going to admit defeat? Jiang Qingyi smiled proudly. Why is he admitting defeat? Admit defeat? No way. Watch my spear. Jiang Qingyi laughed inwardly, still not admitting defeat. She also sped up the circulation of her Zhen Qi, raised her crystal sword, and flew toward Tang Ao on the lotus platform. Huh! Tang Ao shouted, and the dark red light of the 100 battle spear soul instantly brightened. The black and red lightning on the spear shaft crackled, and the originally silent azure dragon on the spearhead turned dark. His aura was slightly weaker than before. The crowd was puzzled. What's going on? Why is the spear's aura stronger than before, but his aura is weaker than before? Yin Shui and Guyu were also puzzled. Even the elders in the stand were puzzled. Only the great elder and Lin Jiang seemed to understand something, and they looked at each other and smiled. Chapter 112. At that moment, there was a trace of fear in Jiang Qingyi's heart, but it was immediately extinguished by her. It can't be. My Rui scepter won't be broken. Jiang Qingyi's eyes turned cold as she raised her glaze sword to fight against Tang Ao. Tang Ao raised his spear and swung it down. The sound was like thunder. Boom! Jiang Qingyi's Rui shield was like a mirror that had been smashed. With the area that was hit as the center, it shattered into pieces. Jiang Qingyi spat out a mouthful of blood. The dragon's scepter fate spirit had completely disappeared. Her almond-shaped eyes were wide open, filled with shock and unwillingness. Tang Ao walked up to Jiang Qingyi with his sword and his spear. He had returned to his usual frivolous self. How about it? Do you admit defeat? Jiang Qingyi rolled her eyes at Tang Ao and walked away. Nice. Beautiful. The audience cheered and applauded Tang Ao for bringing them such an exciting battle. Junior brother, this Tang Ao is quite interesting. Did you bring him into the sect? The first elder pinched his beard and looked at Tang Ao, who was being cheered by the crowd. That's right. Back then, he was only at the 3rd firmament of body tempering, but he had already awakened the 9th firmament life spirit, green lotus sword soul. What's even more precious is that he has the legendary hidden jade in stone body, Lin Jiang explained. I knew it. The great elder seemed to have expected this. This brat used the hidden jade in stone body to trick that girl. To be able to lose to the hidden jade in stone body, that girl's loss is not shameful. Ha ha! Tang Ao bid farewell to his fellow disciples and rushed back to his residence to prepare for the next day's battle. There were a few thousand people in the outer sect, but there were only 10 arenas. Therefore, the second round would last 5 days. Tang Ao had plenty of time to prepare and compete with Yin Shui for first place. It's time to awaken the 4th fate spirit. Senior sister Yin Shui was able to sit at the top of the outer court for so long, so her strength is unfathomable. I need to be fully prepared. Tang Ao immediately sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. His divine sense opened the blue sky to find a suitable fate spirit for himself. The cultivation of the 7 slaughter art required him to collect the life souls of 7 different weapons before he could unleash the super combat strength that far exceeded 8. Tang Ao was familiar with the road, and he walked up to the sky as if he was taking a stroll. Tang Ao walked through the first few floors of the 36 heavens as if he was shopping. When he stepped onto the 12th layer of heaven, the 8 treasures goose plume saber in his life spirit trembled with excitement. Tang Ao ignored him and walked straight to the 13th level of heaven. As soon as he stepped in, the pressure immediately doubled. Tang Ao's expression was grave, no longer as relaxed as before. Phew, After the 12th heavenly layer, the pressure would increase exponentially. No wonder the higher the cultivation level, the greater the gap. Tang Ao took heavy steps toward the 14th layer. The pressure of the 14th layer was a level lower than the 13th layer. Tang Ao felt as if there was a mountain on his body, suffocating him. Phew, this won't do. The pressure of this heaven hasn't reached my limit. I should be able to go up another level. Tang Ao adapted to the 14th layer and roughly estimated his limit. Step by step, he headed for the 15th layer. Dong! The 15th layer seemed to deliberately embarrass Tang Ao. It gave Tang Ao the weight of 2 mountains, causing Tang Ao to almost kneel on the ground. Damn, the darn heavens didn't prepare one for me at all. Although Tang Ao cursed, his footsteps didn't hesitate as he began searching for a suitable life soul. After this battle with Jiang Qingyi, Tang Ao deeply understood the importance of fortifying his defenses. The best way to restrain a life soul with extremely high defense was to use brute force. Among the many weapons that could effectively break through defenses and deal damage was an axe-type life soul. As Tang Ao walked, he looked around. Most of them were common weapon life souls or beast life souls. Nomological life souls were still rare. It's over there. On a rock in the distance, an ancient axe was lying quietly there. The axe's surface was as rusty as the 100-battle spear soul. It's you. Tang Ao grabbed it. With a boom that sounded like the world was collapsing, it pulled Tang Ao into a dark world. This is... Tang Ao's face was filled with shock. In the distance, a tall warrior holding a large axe rushed into the tens of thousands of enemies without hesitation. He slaughtered in all directions. Soon, corpses piled up and blood flowed like a river. Suddenly, a destructive and domineering aura covered the sky and the earth, crushing towards the tens of thousands of people. Whoosh! With a bang, Tang Ao returned to his original position. His face was pale, and cold sweat was dripping. That axe was you? World-dominating axe soul, follow me. One day, I will let you regain the prestige you had back then. The axe seemed to understand Tang Ao's words. It trembled slightly and merged with Tang Ao's divine soul. As his divine soul returned to his body, Tang Ao let out a deep breath. If I didn't perfect the first level of the ancient god moving sky technique, I would probably have a crack in my divine soul like last time. Beyond the sky, a scarlet light descended from the sky and landed in the direction of the courtyard where Tang Ao was. It bounced 3 times and finally disappeared. The disciples in the martial arts arena were attracted by the scarlet light and momentarily forgot to duel with their opponents. What level of heaven's fate spirit is that? It's so dazzling. Only those above the 12th heaven can have such a dazzling light. Who could it be? There are only a few people in our outer yard who have the ability to awaken a fate spirit above the 12th heaven. Looking from this direction, who else could it be but senior brother Tang Ao? Hearing this, Yin Shui was stunned. Then, as if nothing had happened, he returned to his courtyard to rest. Guyu also sighed and shook his head. He sat in a secluded place and closed his eyes to rest. The great elder was also stunned. He stroked his beard and smiled in admiration. This kid's potential is really shocking. Lin Jiang wiped his forehead. Today, Tang Ao had given him too many surprises. It was not easy for him to recover, but when he saw that Tang Ao had awakened a fate spirit above the 12th heaven, he was so shocked that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. That's right. This kid always surprises people. The next day, the martial arts arena was crowded again. Many disciples were scattered around the arena, watching the competition between the outer yard experts with great interest. From time to time, they would clap and cheer. Just like yesterday, Tang Ao walked in casually, forming a sharp contrast with the high-spirited disciples around him. Taking advantage of the end of a match, Tang Ao jumped into the arena. With his hands behind his head, he shouted in the direction of Yin Shui. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.